A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
This I believe. George L. Killian, who is now president of the American President Steamship Lines, was born, appropriately enough, in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. He has been, among other things, a newspaper reporter, public relations consultant, commissioner of the Golden Gate International Exposition, director of finance of the state of California, and a U.S. Army major on the staff of the Allied military government. These are some of the things George Killian's broad experience has taught him to believe.
An early impression of childhood, which in reality became a code of conduct, grows more impressive as I pass through each new day. The importance of my relationships with other people, and my understanding of them, and hence my understanding of life itself. The impression of which I speak developed through a very close and very warm relationship with my father, with whom as a youth I herded cattle, harvested crops, and answered the many demands of a stock ranch in western Colorado. There was always evident an eagerness on the part of my father to withhold judgment in respect to those who differed with him, and an equal desire to try to understand thoroughly their point of view as well as his own. Often he would tell me that the capacity to enjoy life, the ability to promote personal happiness and progress, depended to a very great extent on the quality of one's relationship with other people. He told me that to be able to enjoy progress, peace, and fulfillment, one must first achieve a better understanding, a clearer appreciation of the positive, the good qualities in others, but above all, to strive to reflect in one's own life, to give out even more of the good than may be found or sought in others. My desire to open my mind to the point of view of other people does not necessarily imply nor mean full or even partial agreement with the opinions so expressed. Regardless of how dissimilar my own views might be to theirs, a realization of the purity of their intent has brought to me as one individual many deep and satisfying rewards. The more smoothly I learned to work with people, the easier it became for me to achieve the objectives I had set for myself. While all life in one way or another is a contest, I soon found that a positive attitude toward people was in turn reflected by their confidence and their trust in me. I found also that peace of mind inevitably followed when I learned not to prejudge, look first at the point of view of the others, and then re-examine my own. Later, when I was privileged to direct the work of others, I learned, as my father demonstrated to me, not to expect more of them than I myself was willing to give. By demanding of myself a high standard of performance, it was more natural that those under my guidance responded in kind. My belief, therefore, may easily and simply be stated in the words of one of the greatest of the divine truths: "Whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them." The golden rule applied to each contact, with each person, on each problem of everyday life, was the pattern of human understanding my father set for me, so carefully interpreted to me as a boy, and so devoutly followed all of his life. The pattern did not fail my father, and it has not failed me. It cannot fail. This I believe.
That was the creed of George L. Killian of Oakland, California, a shipping executive whose sympathy toward others has yielded deep and lasting satisfaction.
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
It you have a good time at the UN yesterday, Tony?
Ah, sure did, Casey. Even attended a committee meeting.
But what did you say when they asked whom you represented?
Why, Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, The Chivalrous Gunman. Penrose Square in the daytime is a busy place. But now at night, lights shine behind a few windows of its old-fashioned office and loft buildings. And a block away, a construction crew continues to drill and blast a new section of subway out of the city's rocky bed. In the darkened offices of the J.J. Titus Company, whose business is private loans, there are three men. One is busily engaged at the door of a massive safe. Another holds a flashlight. The third lightly grasps a gun.
How you coming, Gus?
Almost ready to blow her, Ed. Hold that flashlight steady, will you, Riker?
Sure, Gus.
Got the shakes pretty bad, haven't you, Riker?
No, I'm all right, Ed.
You're so scared I can hear your teeth rattle.
Oh, it's the guy's first job, Gus. Weren't you scared when you cracked your first safe? I was scared the first time I killed a guy.
I've never been scared.
How many men have you killed, Ed?
Oh, you've got a lot to learn about the racket, Riker. You must never ask personal questions, and you must cultivate a bad memory.
I will.
I got the charge in and all wired. It's ready to shoot after I rig my padding. You still scared, Riker?
Well, sometimes people work in this building at night doing overtime. If the explosion is heard...
I'm nuts. Nobody paying any attention to this blast. That subway work going on outside makes a perfect setup.
I hope we find all the dough in that safe you say will be in it, Riker.
There'll be at least $40,000 and maybe 50. I work in this office. I know what Titus keeps on hand.
You better be right. I don't like to waste my time.
I told you, fellas, how much money my boss kept here. I showed you how to beat the burglar alarm.
Sure, Riker. You've done your part.
Back with the wall, guys. I'll touch her off.
Right.
Yeah.
Here she goes.
The door's blown clean off.
Sure. I know how to crack these boxes. Now we'll see.
The thing is full of dough.
I told you.
Hey, give me that suitcase. Help me load it with this dough, you guys.
You and Riker loaded. I stay close to this hall door to watch and listen. I'm watching you guys, too, to see none of that dough sticks to your fingers. I want a full third of it.
You'll get it, Ed.
Sure I will.
Big bills and packages.
Hey, there's all of $50,000 here.
We'll count it up when we get to the hotel and make our split.
Yeah, shake it up now.
We've got it all.
Hey, let's get out of here.
You carry the bag with my tools in, Riker. I'll take the money suitcases.
Oh, why can't I...
Gus tells you, Riker.
Sure, okay. But let's get away.
Quiet now. I'll open the door. Come on, there's no one in the hall.
We'll go down the back stairs.
Yeah, then there's only a block to the car and our getaway.
Quiet.
Somebody opened the door.
Down the hall there.
That girl.
Don't scream, babe. Don't.
I won't, but why do you point that gun at me? Mr. Riker.
She recognizes me, Ed. She's a stenographer who works in that office. She'll tell.
And if she told the cops on you, you tell about us. You got to bump the scale, Ed.
No, I don't know what this is all about. Please.
Quiet. Let her have it, Ed.
This girl's coming with us.
Coming with us?
Where?
I know a spot out in the suburbs.
You're going to kill me.
Now, take it easy, baby. Come on, we're heading down the back stairs.
Ed, you take her where you want to. Gus and I'll go to the place we agreed on.
Take that dough with you?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Riker. The dough and me are going to stick together. Yeah, this is a good spot, Gus. Stop the car.
Okay, Ed.
You're going to kill me.
Sorry, sister. You work late in your office on the wrong night. Let's get out.
I'll never tell anybody that I saw you, man. I swear I'll never tell. Mr. Riker, you know me. I swear.
That's just it, Miss Birch. You know me, and you could send me to prison.
You're the guy who runs the biggest risk from this girl, Riker. Suppose you bump her off.
Me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, I couldn't kill anybody.
Okay, yellow belly. How about you, Gus? You're strong for this bump off.
I've done my end of the job tonight. This is your part, Ed.
Yeah, that's so. Want to see me do it?
No. Take her back there among those trees.
Okay. Come on, sister.
No. Let go of my
Come on
husband.
now.
Please.
Quiet.
Please don't.
Come on. That's the girl. Just a few steps, babe, away from the road where the trees are thick. That's it. And away from those two yellow bellies. Oh, I'm not going to hurt you.
You're not...
Quiet. I've been sizing you up, and I figured you'd stand by a guy who stood by you.
I swear I'll never tell her. I swear...
That don't convince me. I go by how I feel about things. Besides, I've never killed a woman.
You're going to let me go?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Now, Candace, now listen. If you follow this path for about a quarter mile, you'll come out on Weldon Spring Road where you can flag a bus back to town. All right, get going.
Oh, Missy,
That's all. I'll fire a shot or two after you start for the benefit of those mugs back there. So long.
Thanks. I'll never forget you.
What I expect you to do is forget me. Get on your way.
Goodbye. You can depend on me.
A swell double cross,
Hey, what,
Listen, I didn't trust you with that money. We followed you and heard everything you said to that girl.
You did, Riker?
We did.
And you have a gat in your mitt, huh, Gus?
Yeah.
Guns aren't your racket, pal. You're a safecracker.
I'll use a gat when I have to pay off a double crosser. That gal is never going to reach the bus line. And as for you...
What about me?
I'm giving you this.
No, you don't. I said guns weren't your racket, Gus. It's slow on the trigger.
You killed him.
I think so, Riker. Let's see. Uh-huh. He's dead. You never saw a guy get it before, I guess.
Don't look at me like that, Ed.
Not
Don't
much guts have you, Riker. You don't belong in the big leagues, and you wouldn't know what to do with big dough. So I'm taking all of what we got tonight.
No. Not even a killer like you was going to take it from me.
Shouldn't have reached for the gat. Poor Gus dropped, Riker. Guns aren't your racket either.
Our story will continue in just a moment. For more than 125 years, we've all enjoyed good, wholesome beer and ale in glass bottles. Why?
Because glass, and only glass, can bring you beer and ale as it comes from the brewery, unaffected by any foreign taste or flavor.
Yes, glass bottles and only glass bottles can bring you beer as it's meant to taste. Beer that's brewery bright.
And here at last is a new kind of bottle.
A glass bottle that's different.
It requires no deposit.
No return to the store.
When the bottle is empty, just throw it away.
It's light as a feather.
Sturdy and compact.
It saves space in the icebox.
It belongs on any table.
It's a natural for picnics.
And, brother, what flavor, that real brewery flavor.
Protected by glass.
As only glass can protect it.
Yes, the revolutionary new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle is sweeping America. For flavor, demand beer in glass bottles. For convenience, demand your favorite brand in the new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle. A product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
That's how it happened, Captain Logan. I tried to tell you everything.
That's the end, Captain.
Riker's dead, Doctor?
Yes, it's a miracle he lived as long as he did. Well, Logan, you got a big break. He gave you a pretty complete story before he passed out.
Yeah, it was a swell break, Casey.
But Riker didn't identify the killer for you, Captain. He said he knew him only as Ed.
And the description he gave you fits thousands of men.
Well, at least Riker gave me something to work on, Miss Williams. And there's this stenographer, Francis Birch, that the gunman turned loose.
Logan, do you go for that part of Riker's story? A professional trigger man so chivalrous he takes a chance on his own hide by letting a witness go free? That's hard for me to swallow.
Well, screwy as this thing sounds, I think she got away safely. She'll be able to give me a good description of this killer. Women remember men.
If the killer did let her go, and if she has any sense of gratitude, you're not going to get a thing out of her.
Now, when she learns that her chivalrous gunman killed 2 guys tonight, well, as a reputable citizen...
I'll bet she won't say a thing.
We'll see. I'm starting to look for Miss Birch right now.
Yes, Captain Logan, the man let me go. He said he couldn't kill a woman. I ran through the woods, caught a bus, and came home here.
He didn't follow you?
No, Captain Logan.
This is certainly a hot one, Annie.
I'll say.
Now, I've told you all I know. I've had a terrible experience tonight. Please leave me alone.
I'm sorry, Miss Birch, but you haven't yet given me a description of this man called Ed.
I can't describe him, Captain. It was dark all the time I was with him, and I was so frightened.
Well, you must have some idea.
I haven't. I don't remember a single detail of the man's appearance.
Because you're too grateful to remember?
I just don't remember.
Miss Birch, this man's a professional killer. He murdered 2 men tonight.
It was a cold-blooded murder, and it was a double cross.
It's your duty to assist the police in putting him where he belongs.
Duty can't make me tell you something I don't know. I wouldn't recognize him if he walked into this room. I don't know him.
Okay. That's the way you want it. I'll have to hold you as a material and unwilling witness. Sergeant, take this young lady to headquarters.
You mean I'll be a prisoner?
You will be held for further questioning. Does the prospect improve your memory?
No, Captain. I'm ready to go, Sergeant.
Well, guess you win your bet, Casey.
Sorry, pal. I hoped I'd lose.
Mr. Ebersole, to everyone who's come into this bar, I've been predicting that this here baseball season is going to end with a big surprise.
Hello, Ethelbert.
Hi, pal.
Casey, Miss Williams. Excuse me, Mr. Ebersole. Where you been all day?
Oh, hanging around police headquarters. Who's that guy?
I'm going back there in a few minutes.
Yeah, we've only got time for a small bottle of beer apiece, so give us some action, Ethelbert. Come
Coming
on.
right up. You sticking close to headquarters, waiting for a break in that Chivalrous Gunman case?
Yeah.
Yeah, those things swell newspaper copies. The women especially are eating it up.
Well, I'll say they are, Miss Williams. Every other femme who comes in here is talking about the killer who wouldn't hurt a lady. I think most of them are jealous of that Birch gal. They'd like to have met such a romantical character themselves.
Oh, romantical character nuts, Ethelbert. Those cookies don't do anything romantic or chivalrous unless they got a very cold, hard-boiled reason for it.
But she still ain't described or identified the killer, has she?
Well, no.
Which seems to prove, Mr. Casey, that he didn't take very big chances. He was simply an excellent judge of character.
Maybe. The thing still has a phony smell to me.
I don't see why, Casey. He sized up the gal and figured she wouldn't rat on anyone who done her a big favor. That's all there is to it.
That's the way it looks, all right. Yeah.
I suppose the cops have investigated the Birch gal pretty thorough, huh?
Very thoroughly. And she's just what she seems to be, a plain-looking, capable stenographer. And her reputation is A1.
Yeah, but, Annie, nobody knows her really well. She has no close gal friends. She never went out much with guys. The cops didn't find anybody she'd ever been confidential with.
Well, so what? Girls in a wolf town like this are smart to keep to themselves.
Yeah.
Well, she worked overtime on the night of the robbery at her own request, Annie.
And her boss says that she's done that many times before.
Yeah, I know.
You got suspicions of Miss Birch, Casey?
Well, I had, pal, but There seems to be no grounds for him.
Casey had an elaborate theory that the appearance of Miss Birch after the Titus safe was robbed was timed.
Time?
To make two of the robbers, Riker and Gus, agree to a change in plans.
See, they'd intended to split the dough in a downtown hotel. Well, Francis Birch provided an excuse for this gunman Ed to get them and the stolen money out to a lonely spot in the woods where he could bump them off and take the entire haul.
You figured Miss Birch and that Ed were working together, huh?
Well, it was a theory.
You mean a hunch?
Yeah, only Logan can't find any connection between the Birch gal and any crooks.
I don't think it was a very hot theory, anyways. I guess Captain Logan's been rounding up a lot of suspects, huh?
Every guy known to have associated with the safecracker, Gus, has been brought in for questioning. The cops are still looking for more. Oh, well. Annie, come on, let's get back to headquarters. If anything breaks in this case, we want to be around,
And
you
we'd
know.
better be. Our city desk will have our scalp.
You know what I predict about this case, pal?
What?
It'll either be solved
Yeah?
or it'll always remain a mystery.
You and Miss Williams got here just in time, Casey. My boys have brought in another suspect.
So who is he?
A rod from Minneapolis named George Neal. Been booked for several trigger jobs in the Middle West, but always got out from under. He's been seen several times with Gus Lesser during the past couple of weeks, and he just might be Ed.
Is the name Ed one of George Neal's aliases, Captain?
No, not that we know of, Miss Williams, but that's a minor detail. An experienced crook wouldn't let an amateur like Riker know his real name or one of his usual aliases. Bring him in, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
In a minute or two, I'll have Miss Birch in to give him the once-over.
Oh, she won't identify anyone for you.
I watch that gal very closely when she meets a suspect, Miss Williams. When she sees the right one, she may tell me more than she intends to.
Oh, you think she'll give herself and him away?
Could be. Now, you and Casey keep your eyes open. Let me handle it.
Okay.
Here's Neil, Captain.
Oh, come in, Neil.
Oh, thanks.
Have a chair.
You're too good to me. Well, what's this pickup all about, Captain?
When'd you leave Minneapolis, Neil?
Ooh, about 6 months ago.
Been operating in this town ever since?
I don't know what you mean by operating.
You did quite a little gun work out in the Middle West?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I fell up against a couple of phony raps that weren't followed by convictions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You pulled some jobs in this town, Neil.
Have I?
Mm-hmm.
Prove it.
I'm going to try. Bring in our witness, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
You have a witness?
Yeah.
There she is, Captain.
What do you want of me now, Captain?
Now, take a look at that man, Miss Birch.
Well?
Have you ever seen him before?
No.
You're certain?
Certain.
That's all. Take her back to her quarters, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Well, your witness didn't know me, Captain.
I noticed that, Neil.
Am I at liberty to go now?
You're being held for questioning. Take charge of him, Martin.
Come on, Neil.
Okay. These cops certainly waste an awful lot of time having a thing on me.
Miss Williams, Casey, you notice a change in that gal when she saw Neil?
Yes, Captain. Her voice was calm enough, but did you see how she clenched her hand?
You get it too, Casey?
I wasn't watching the gal, Logan.
You weren't watching.
Casey!
I had my eyes on Neil. He wasn't at all afraid of Miss Birch.
You mean you think he's not our guy?
I'm sure he is our guy.
I don't get it.
No, neither do I.
All right, now, Neil was pretty tense at first. Because you just might have had the goods on him for any one of a dozen jobs. Well, that tension disappeared when he saw Francis Birch. All he showed then was relief.
But, Casey, if he's Ed, he'd have had the opposite reaction.
Of course, Ed met this gal only once. He couldn't be sure she wouldn't send him to the hot seat.
Right. He couldn't be sure if he'd met her only once.
You going back to your cockeyed theory of collusion between that respectable woman and a professional rodman?
Neil's a good-looking guy. He could have made a play for her after he learned about the big dough in Titus's safe. And she could have gone so overboard on him, Logan, that she'd play along with the scheme, even a scheme that involved robbery and murder. Well, that's just a hunch, pal.
Well, there's no way to prove a hunch of that kind, Casey. She'll just keep on refusing to identify Ed.
I think there's a way to prove it.
Oh.
Women are jealous, Logan. And when they go all out for a guy, they demand a lot in return.
Yeah.
How do you know so much about women, Casey?
I've read about them, Annie, in books.
Say, we'll try the old green-eyed monster gag, Casey.
Now, what on earth?
Now, you'll find out, because you're going to help work it, Miss Williams. Now, here's what we'll do. Beginning tomorrow, George Neal will receive special privileges in jail. He'll be allowed to have visitors privately. And after we're sure he's enjoying his privileges, Miss Birch's quarters in the women's wing will be changed so that she'll have a fine view of the private visiting room. And then, Miss Williams, you come in.
Come in, Miss Williams. Nice of you to visit me.
Well, it seems the least I can do, Miss Birch. You must be terribly unhappy here.
That's an understatement. I'm not in a barred cell, but I'm in a jail. I'm a prisoner. How much longer are they going to hold me as a witness against a man they haven't arrested and whom I can't identify if they do?
Well, I don't know, Miss Birch. But they're making things more comfortable for you. They've given you nicer quarters than you had before.
Yes. They moved me in here today.
Huh? Well, this would be quite a pleasant room if it weren't inside a jail.
Yes, but it is.
Oh, that's interesting view from this window.
Interesting? Barred windows, stone walls.
No, haven't you noticed the visiting rooms? They're a few floors below, across the court. You can see the real prisoners with their relatives and friends.
That'll be fun.
That fellow Neil is in one of the rooms now.
Neil?
He's a good-looking guy. One of the men that you couldn't identify, remember?
Oh, no, I've been asked to identify so many men.
Look, he's got a nice-looking girl visiting him.
Yes, I see.
She looks a little too blonde to be the real thing.
Definitely peroxide.
Oh, I don't know what there is about blondes, real or phony, but they sure appeal to men.
Who do you suppose that woman is?
I don't know.
She's probably a newspaper reporter like you, interviewing.
No, I know all the news gals in town, and she's not one of us.
Oh.
The guards come in to break up their visit. Oh. Neil must be a close friend. She's kissing him goodbye.
Yes, so I see.
Look at that. Oh. The guards shoot him out. Show's over.
Miss Williams. I wonder if you'd find out for me.
What, Miss Birch?
Nothing. Never mind. Oh, hello, Miss Williams.
Hi there. I meant to come back sooner, but I've been so busy.
It's good to see you. It's good to see anyone who isn't a matron or a policeman.
You don't look very well. Have you been sick?
I haven't been sleeping.
Well, I don't wonder. You're not really a prisoner, but just...
I'm in a prison.
Well, I wish I could do something for you.
You can. Miss Williams.
Yes?
Nothing. You know, I've had some amusement watching people in that visitor's room you pointed out to me. That man, Neil, I think you said his name was.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, do you know that same blonde woman's visited him every day? She must be a relative, don't you think?
She's a relative, all right. I was curious enough to ask about her. She's his wife.
His wife?
Yeah. As she flew on here from Minneapolis.
His wife?
Miss Birch, what's the matter?
He's married. He was married when he met me. Married when he made me do the things I did for him. All right, two can play his rotten game. Get Captain Logan. I'll tell him what he wants to know. George Neal is Ed. He's that chivalrous gunman. He's the murderer I love. He's the man who promised to marry me.
Hi. I guess you've heard everything you need to, Captain Logan.
Yeah, we heard, Miss Williams. And Casey wins another bet.
This one, Logan, I didn't want to lose.
We'll join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment. It's a funny thing, but nobody ever seems to have enough glasses. Attractive glasses, big, generous-sized glasses, particularly on these hot summer days and nights when you serve so much iced tea and lemonade. So why not put this note right on the top of your weekend shopping list? 6 oversized sunburst crystal glasses for long drinks of all kinds. These new sunburst crystal glasses cost only 10 cents apiece at your favorite 5 and 10 cent store or any other store selling household glass. They're crystal, yes, genuine crystal, with a beauty that can be compared only to rare and costly hand-cut crystal, the kind that mothers hand down to their daughters. Yet these sunburst crystal glasses cost only 10 cents apiece, only 60 cents for a half dozen, slightly more in distant cities. Now, you'll recognize them immediately by the distinctive sunburst design. But be sure to ask for Sunburst Crystal by name. Sunburst Crystal, product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
The blonde tomato Miss Birch saw with Neil was just a police stooge. Huh, Miss Williams?
Mm-hmm. That's right, Ethelbert.
Yeah, great job she has there. After a couple of visits, their little get-together was worth watching.
Those visits will put the Chivalrous Gunman into the hot seat.
Yes. Frances Birch has given the DA a detailed account of her association with Neil before the robbery and how they put on that act in the woods.
I still can't understand why he needed her as an excuse to get his partners in crime out in them woods.
Well, Ethelbert, Neil has a screwy quirk of character, pal. Unlike most professional gunmen, he couldn't shoot a guy unless he had some pretense of self-defense. So he planned things so both Gus and Riker tried to get him before he got them.
Pure vanity, Ethelbert. A manifestation of the protective ego with which all males cover their shortcomings.
Say, Annie, how do you know so much about men?
Not from reading books, Mr. Casey.
Huh?
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass. Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Dietz. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
This I believe. George Leslie Stout is the director of the Worcester Art Museum. The collection and conservation of man's creative efforts have been his work and interest since college days at the University of Iowa. His career in the field of art includes teaching, research, and writing. He was also the managing editor of the 10-volume Technical Studies in the Field of Fine Arts. Here now is George Stout.
Years ago, I sat occasionally in the company of a few scholars who had concluded that man as a creature is slowly getting worse, moving downwards from an older and a better state towards a poorer one. I could not agree with them. To me, mankind, a vast family of creatures, is growing inevitably towards a state of civilization. I believe that in time long past, there started among us an appetite for understanding and fairness. We began to learn mercy, to love others, to seek truth, to inquire after knowledge, and to find contentment in the song of a bird or the shape of a hill against the sky. We began to look for justice in the government of our affairs, to tell about the meanings of our life together, to laugh at our follies. And we began to make things that would contain some of the meanings we found and hold them in words or paint or stone. How this craving for civilization started, I do not claim to know. I do not expect it to be satisfied by any contrivance or imagine it to be the special property of any group or any race. I cannot link my own belief in it to the revelation of a single event. Somehow, the belief came, it stays, and it furnishes me with a constant motive for work and for existence. I have to admit that man's growth towards civilization looks slow and unsteady. At moments, whole nations seem to fall back. Their people fret for deliverance from selfish fears. They pay homage to persons who have snatched power for themselves, all manner of tyrants, and people beg them for comfort and for peace. But when I look beyond the weak spots, I can notice those men who pursue knowledge for the common benefit, or labor for sound structures rather than for gain, or fight and die, not for praise or possessions, but for the freedom of others. These are not strange or distant men. A friend of mine talked over the fence one day with a farmer in the stony hills of New Hampshire. My friend said there must be a lot of drudgery on a place like this, and the farmer answered him, "Work ain't drudgery if you're building something." That, I believe, is it, to build something. A farm on a hillside, a home, a mill, a congenial neighborhood, an explanation of natural laws, a cure for ills, a comedy, a record of history, a poem, an altar. To be at such works is to move on the way to civilization, and it must be a way without end. Although they might wander off, men come back to works like these, and back to the way of civilization. I believe they always will. At such tasks, they are free from strife. They are calm in the awareness that although the parcel of a man's life is small, the grandeur of men's growth is infinite. An old saying goes, "He who sustains all the calamities of the country can be the king of the world." And another, "The meek shall inherit the earth." This I believe.
That was George Leslie Stout, the director of the Worcester Museum of Art in Massachusetts.
Crime does not pay.
Mayview Escort Bureau. Miss Mayview speaking.
Miss Mayview, Lucy.
Yes, Mrs. Appleton.
It's terrible. It's really terrible. And to think I recommended you to.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow you.
It's Mrs. Greenleaf, you remember? I sent her to you. And we had a foster, Donald Leonard, she and myself. And now her house has been robbed, and she wants to place charges with the police against those two wonderful boys we met through you.
Nothing like this has ever happened to any of the young men in my escort bureau, Mrs. Appleton. Nothing, ever. If I saw Mrs. Greenleaf, would I be able to... It wasn't my boy. And will you take me to her?
Oh, yes. To both questions.
Very well. I'll pick you up at your place in half an hour. Don, Lenny, come in here, both of you. I think you've made a big mistake.
In the interest of good citizenship and law enforcement, we present Crime Does Not Pay, based on the famous Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer series of short subjects. In just a moment, you will hear Escort for Hire, starring Mary Wicks. Now, Crime Does Not Pay, starring Mary Wicks as Lucy Mayview in Escort for Hire. There was nothing about Lucy Mayview nor the Mayview Escort Bureau which would inspire anything but confidence. The Bureau was a suite of rooms in a good hotel, an office suite in the midst of other offices. Neat, clean, efficient, businesslike. Lucy fitted the setting she had chosen. She, too, was neat, efficient, businesslike. The young men who worked for her had just the right modicum of charm, more than balanced by the kind of tweedy, male, rough but good looks which seemed to appeal to women who refused to admit that they'd passed the age of 45. So, Lucy did well. So well, she could afford to be choosy about clients. As she explained to her two star employees, Don Williams and Leonard Huntley.
We can afford to take our time, boys. The word's getting round. The ladies love you. They talk. That's enough.
Sure, Lucy. But why not take on a few more fellas, clean up, and retire?
What's your hurry?
Just a suggestion, Lucy. Don likes the green stuff, and so do I.
And I don't? Look, both of you, this business is my operation. I take the real risk, and I do the thinking. We follow my plans.
It was just a suggestion.
Okay. We have two departments in this place, planning and execution. I do the planning, you two execute. Now, about tonight. Mayview Escort Bureau. Miss Mayview speaking.
Miss Mayview, this is Louise Appleton.
Oh, Mrs. Appleton. Yes, of course.
Not bad for her age.
Anything the matter, Mrs. Appleton?
Well, yes and no. I have a problem. I thought you might help me. That is, us out.
Well, if you'd explain a little further, Mrs. Appleton.
Well, I know how much in demand your escorts are.
Yes.
But as it happens, I have a friend.
Let me see. Yes, you have an appointment tonight with Donald Williams.
I have, but my friend, Mrs. Greenleaf, Mrs. Helen Greenleaf, happens to be alone. And we thought it'd be nice to have two young men. I know your bureau is busy, but I thought, as I'm, a regular customer and all.
I understand perfectly, Mrs. Appleton. Of course, I'm sure Donald would take perfect care of both of you.
Hey, one like Appleton's
Shut
enough.
up, Don. Don't worry. If you let me look at the appointment book a moment, Mrs. Appleton, yes, I can send Leonard Huntley along. At the usual rate, of course.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Mayview. You're simply marvelous. And will you tell the boys that black tie will be sufficient?
Yes.
I've planned the most marvelous evening.
Yes, I'm sure you have, Mrs. Appleton. From all I hear, my boys are just about fighting among themselves for the privilege of escorting you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have them at your place at about 8.
Yes, 8 will be perfect. And thank you ever so much. I shall tell all my friends about your wonderful service.
Please do. Goodbye.
Please do what?
Tell her friends. Now, you know the address, Don. Black tie, both of you. 8 sharp. Flowers, the works. Let the poor babes have fun. They pay for it.
Oh, how I hate to see this evening end. Why, it's been glorious.
Oh, thank you, both of you.
We did our best. Helen.
Well, here I am.
Good night, Helen, darling.
Good night,
I'm so glad you had fun.
Oh, I did, dear. I truly did.
Shall I take you to your door, Louise, dear?
You stay with Helen. I want her to know what it's like to have two men take her home.
The last time that happened was just after I came out. Oh, boy, that was a party.
Oh, I'm sure Len...
darling. I'd better go up alone. Mr. Appleton was due in town on the 11 o'clock plane. And, of course, you know, I've been spending the evening with Helen. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Tomorrow, Helen. Not too early.
This is my place, boys. A poor thing, but mine own.
Poor? Why, it's as beautiful as your stables, Helen. And as charming as yourself.
Thank you, boys. Ooh, I feel so wicked for some reason. 2 young men in my apartment after midnight. That must be it.
And not a single husband in sight.
He is, too.
What?
Oh, don't look so startled, boys. Just a photograph in that picture frame on the piano.
Oh, he looks a lot older than you, Helen.
He was. He died 3 years ago. Now put your hats in the hall closet and be comfortable. The liquor's in that cabinet there. Ice chest built in. I won't be but a minute, boys, and then we can have a nice chat.
Yikes. What a layout. And not a husband in sight. Hey, look at the liquor stock. This dame's all right. Smarter than she acts. And that rope of pearls she's wearing. Real, or I'll swallow them on their string. And the rocks in those bracelets. Hey, look here. Found something? Wall safe. As easy to open as a piggy bank. Ixnay.
Now, don't tell me you've been too bashful to mix yourself drinks.
We just waited for you, Helen. Now, what would you like?
Well, you probably think I'm awful, but I'd like a short bourbon and soda for a last drink.
Fine. Make mine light, Len. Jack. You know, Helen, if I may, I'd like to say that you've made both Len and myself forget tonight that we're paid employees. You've been very kind.
Of course I have. I wanted a good time, too. That's the only way. That's the reason, boys, that I never go out with the same young men more than once. Familiarity breeds contempt, you know. Mayview Escort Bureau. Miss Mayview speaking.
Miss Mayview. Lucy.
Yes, Mrs. Appleton.
It's terrible. It's really terrible. And to think that I recommended you to.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow you.
Well, it's Mrs. Greenleaf, you remember? I sent it to you when we had a foursome.
Yes.
Donald, Leonard, she, and myself. And now her house has been robbed, and she wants to place charges with the police against those two wonderful boys we met through you.
Nothing like this has ever happened to any of the young men in my escort bureau, Mrs. Appleton. Nothing, ever. If I saw Mrs. Greenleaf, would I be able to convince her it wasn't my boys? And will you take me to her?
Oh, yes. Yes, to both questions.
Very well. I'll pick you up at your place in half an hour. Don, Lenny, come in here, both of you. I think you've made a bad mistake.
Why, what's wrong? Nothing serious.
Sit down. Sit down.
Sure, Pete. I've been sitting.
You two took over the Greenleaf joint, didn't you? Well, didn't you?
Now, see here, Lucy, there's no...
Shut up. The Appleton dame just called. Greenleaf is going to file charges.
Holy smoky, she's got no husband.
I know. But Appleton has. And that may be our ace in the hole. I'm going to see Greenleaf with Appleton. If I can get Greenleaf to believe that calling Copper will let Appleton's husband in on what his dear wife has been up to, it may save the situation.
Sure, it'll work. It's bound to. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. Nothing except the fact that Greenleaf will knock us all over town. We operate without a license. And the cops have long ears. Nothing except the fact that you looted that place without my okay, without giving me my cut. Now pay up my 50%. The next time you pull up stupid stuff like this, you'll both wind up in cement overcoats. I think you both know that I don't waste words on idle threats. How can you possibly be so certain, Mrs. Greenleaf? Oh, I know it seems suspicious, but I've shown you the boy's references. Mrs. Appleton here has told you how she's been going out with Donald for months. Never a breath of suspicion.
Louise is a fool, far bigger than I am.
Helen, I never thought for one moment.
You never thought, period. Occasionally, Miss Mayhew, I indulge myself in the company of men younger than myself. At the close of the evening, I inform them that they will not see me again. Perhaps that's what caused your employees to work so quickly.
May I remind you, Mrs. Greenleaf, that you are making these charges in front of a third party. That is grounds for a suit.
Louise wouldn't dare testify. You wouldn't dare bring suit. You see, I have proof.
What kind of proof? Why, I can't believe my boy.
I opened the door with the key from my evening bag. After they left, that key was missing. The thieves came in and went out by the door while I was sleeping. Your boy, Leonard, mixed our nightcap. I had my chloral hydrate, just enough to make me sleep soundly. I have a case under Goodwin, and I intend to prosecute. I held off this long out of respect for Louise. Now, this is your chance to return what was taken from me.
Just a moment, Mrs. Greenleaf. Out of respect for Louise, if you prosecute, the whole story will come out. The world will read in the papers your world of society and society columns that Louise arranged that date. Helen, don't you see? Henry will find out, and I'll never be able to hold up my head.
I see only a polite form of blackmail, and I'm not intimidated. My property, Miss Mayhew, or the police.
You're very determined, aren't you? Words don't seem to have much effect. Very well, then. In here, boys.
What?
Greetings, lady. Happy to see you again.
What's the meaning of this?
Obviously, we have moved from the region of words to that of action. All right, Don, hold her.
Wait,
Oh, Lucy, you couldn't.
Keep your hands off me. I'll scream you.
She won't yell, Lucy.
No, I can't believe it, Lucy, not you.
Shut up,
Now, a small sample, Mrs. Greenleaf. I will not have my business interfered with. If you try anything, you'll die. Slowly. You'll beg to die. You understand? Understand? Understand?
Lucy, she's passed out.
Helen. I started this. Let me help in it. Her heart stopped.
Huh?
I was the nurse's aide, I know. She's dead.
All right. She's dead. It's murder, I suppose.
Now, wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Yes, brought about during the commission of a felony as murder in this state. Don't argue. Now, you do as you're told. You put her in the bedroom. Clean the place of fingerprints, then leave the back way. Louise will escort me out the way we came in. The maid will find the Greenleaf woman. It'll seem natural. And as for you, Appleton, you're into this up to your neck. You breathe a word and you'll be an accessory before and after the fact. I'll see to that. And what your husband will do will seem mild compared to what the law and the newspapers will do to you. You're one of us now. And from here on in, you'll operate under my orders and do exactly as I ask. If you know what's good for you.
In just a moment, Crime Does Not Pay will continue with Escort for Hire. Now we continue with Crime Does Not Pay, starring Mary Wicks as Lucy Mayhew in Escort for Hire. There was no doubt about it. Lucy Mayhew had the knack of turning trouble into advantage. She found a way to make Helen Greenleaf's death serve her, and she used it as a club over the heads of the boys as well as Louise Appleton. Lucy could be ruthless. In fact, she rather enjoyed it.
All right, Don. What's wrong?
Nothing.
No, stop it. I've had nothing but bad reports on you. Complaints even. You're preoccupied. You aren't solicitous. You treat our clients as if they weren't even there. 4 weeks of this.
I'm sorry. I'm bored, that's all.
You're scared, Don.
Scared? Of what?
Of murder.
Not a very pleasant item to live with.
Unless you know how to use it.
You do, I suppose.
Definitely. You saw the notice in the paper. Greenleaf died of heart disease. So certified, period.
It's too easy. I don't like it. I am scared, Lucy. Look, it's a month now. Why don't we close up here and go to some other town?
Don't try to quit, Don. You're in as deep as any of us.
I'm not quitting.
Let me show you how this is going to work. Another 3 months, we'll have enough to retire.
Another 3 months, then 3 months more. Will you ever have enough, Lucy?
I've brains enough to know when the cows have been milked dry.
I hope so.
Up to now, Louise has paid for silence with cash. Watch this. Louise Appleton is about to extend the area of her cooperation.
Hello?
Louise? This is Lucy.
Oh, yes.
Are you alone, dear?
Yes, I'm alone.
Then you can talk.
What do you want? I paid this week.
My boys are idle. And idleness breeds mischief, doesn't it?
Yes, I suppose it does.
I want them to keep busy.
You know I can't be seen with them.
But your friends can.
I can't do...
But you will.
I won't trap anyone as I trapped poor
But
Helen.
you will.
I won't.
You leave no alternative but to call your husband. A word, Louise, about your dates with Donald. A hint of embroidery. Need I say more? Well, Louise?
What do you want?
I want you to recommend us to your friends. You know the qualifications. Wealth. That little wish to feel wicked again that brought you to us. And, of course, at least one vulnerable spot, a husband. Social position, professional status. You're familiar with all that, I know.
Well, I can't guarantee.
Oh, but you can. In fact, you have, haven't you, Louise, dear? You're going to have some new customers for me before the week is out. Aren't you, dear?
You're Lucy Mayview?
Yes. You're Mrs. Parnell?
Marna Parnell. Louise Appleton.
Thank you. Yes, of course I remember. Well, sit down.
Thank you. You're younger than I expected.
Perhaps that helps me understand the position of ladies like yourself.
Louise implied something like that. I hardly know where to start.
Well, it's not usual for ladies to come here. They prefer to telephone.
I buy content, not wrapping.
And you prefer to see what you're getting?
Oh, getting into. I gather from Louise that you're a very clever young woman.
Thank her for this. I trust you will have the same feeling.
I hope so, Miss Mayview. Louise mentioned a young man with whom she'd gone out occasionally. A Donald Williams.
Oh, yes. She seems to enjoy his company. Would you like to meet Don?
If he's here. I have a meeting of the Milk Fund Committee in a short time. I'm chairman this year.
Oh, are you? How nice. Excuse me a moment. Don, will you come in a moment?
Yes?
Mrs. Parnell would like to meet you.
Of course, Miss Mayview. How do you do, Mrs. Parnell?
How do you do?
Donald, Mrs. Parnell was sent to us by Louise Appleton, remember?
Oh, of course. Charming woman, Mrs. Appleton.
She spoke highly of you, Mr. Williams. I must say you impressed me, if first impressions mean anything.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Parnell.
Yes, I'm happy to hear that. I think they do in this business. Now then, shall we arrange a date for you two? For tonight, shall we say? Never waste time is our motto, you know, Mrs. Parnell.
I don't like it, Lucy. It smells like a double cross someplace.
An odor, Len, with which you ought to be familiar.
All right, don't rub it in. You can't blame a fella for trying once.
But I can remember he tried.
All right, I still don't like it. Don's been going out with that Parnell dame for a month now, and he's got nothing on her we can use yet.
Patience is the foundation of profit in this business.
In this racket.
I prefer the word business. Len, what's eating you?
Well, I've seen them in places on jobs that I've had for you. She never wears an evening gown.
Perhaps she doesn't like them.
A dame with her figure?
Why does that make you suspicious?
Because it doesn't fit the picture. That dame doesn't look or act or talk like the kind of dizzy characters we usually get, and smart dames don't need us.
You're imagining things, Len.
Not me. I know this business. That dame isn't on the level.
Feel better if I check?
Why not?
All right.
Who?
Louise. If there's anything wrong, she'll score.
Hello?
Louise? This is Lucy.
Yes.
What do you know about Marna Parnell?
What everyone knows. chairman of the Milk Fund, a very nice-looking...
Oh, stop it. How have you known her?
Why, years and years. Yes, years and years.
Go to school together?
Yes, that's it. We went to Miss Drew's together years ago. It's a very exclusive school. Only girls, the very best families. We had some wonderful times together. We really did.
I don't think you knew her 2 months ago.
You mean when...
When Greenleaf got hers, that's exactly what I mean.
Look, how can you
Oh,
imply...
save it, Louise, until you get to my office.
But I can't.
You'll come. I'm sending Leonard for you in my car. You'll come at once. Go get her, Len.
What do you want her for?
She's a rotten liar, and you may have hit on something. Get Appleton.
Bring her back here?
Here? In the hotel? Obviously not. If Louise needs a going over, she'll get it at my apartment. Take my car. And if she needs persuading, I'll leave that entirely up to you, Romeo.
This is your office, Lucy?
I prefer to bring my closest associates to my home.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Why did you lie, Louise? That isn't healthy.
Lie? When did
you
I...
never went to school with that Parnell woman.
Oh, well, I said the first thing that came into my head, I guess.
We don't trust dimwits like that, do we, Len?
No, we don't.
And we don't care for them in our organization.
That's definite.
Well, then let me go. I swear I'll never breathe a word.
Until it becomes the first thing that pops into your head? No, Louise. No one leaves our organization.
It's a life membership. Once in, you stay in until you die.
Quite simple. Who's Marna Parnell? And this time, the truth.
Well, I met her at a milk fund meeting. She's the chairman.
Why did you send her to me?
She seemed lonely.
Len, what's your impression?
But Marna's always gone out with Don.
Shut up. Len's seen them together. Len?
That they were lonely in her life.
Oh, I don't believe it. Why, she told me...
Told you what?
Well, that she'd never had a date.
This one's lying again, Len. What do you suggest?
A small refresher course in the truth along the lines of what she saw her friend Greenleaf
Don't
get.
you touch me. You keep away from me.
Hold her, Len. Let her yell. No one will hear her.
A pleasure, Lucy. Sit still. You...
I don't care. I don't care anymore. I can't live like this. Tell me, do what you want. I will talk. I won't talk.
Brave, isn't she, Len? What'll it be? The usual? Or something special?
Make it fast, that's all. There's something with that Parnell dame that...
All right. Open up in there. Open it.
Help! Please! Help!
Sounds like it.
The name's Willis. Homicide. Here's the warrant.
It's lies, all of it.
How do you know until you've read it, Maydew?
Oh, Mr. Parnell. Mrs. Parnell.
You dirty double-crossing...
The dame's a lady cop. I told you, Lucy.
Both of you to the judge. Thanks for tailing them so well, Lieutenant. You can't make the charge stick. You've got no witnesses except this woman.
Haven't we? When your boy Williams is down at the station house saving your skin with his wagging tongue? Look, Maeve, you get this. Mrs. Appleton came to us with her story in confidence after she confessed to her husband. So we played along until Williams was willing to talk. You're going to find out the hard way, Mayview, that fleecing silly women may be a misdemeanor, but burglary, blackmail, and murder are something else entirely.
Crime does not pay. Mary Wicks, who was starred as Lucy Mayview in Escort for Hire, will be back with you in just a moment. Now, here in person is Mary Wicks.
It's true that Lucy was clever, but like the vast majority of lawbreakers, not quite clever enough. Now, Lucy represents the type of criminal which lies in wait for the respectable citizen who contributes to crime by wanting to feel just a touch wicked. You'll find her type in any of several dozen activities, from escort bureaus to illegal gambling and back again. All these activities tempt by their daring and by their seeming harmlessness, but inevitably they lead to grief like Louise. And while the criminals involved are almost always caught, the fact remains that in the final analysis, for everyone concerned, crime does not pay.
Thank you, Miss Wicks. Man Does Not Pay is written by Ira Marion and directed by Marks B. Loeb, with music composed and conducted by John Gard. Technical advisor is Burton B. Turtis. The events, characters, and names used in the story you've just heard are fictitious. Any similarity is purely coincidental. This is Bob Williams speaking.
This, I believe. Many are familiar with Omar Khayyam's restaurant in San Francisco and its owner, George Mardikian. This restaurateur, whose career began as a dishwasher, is now one of the country's leading food experts. During the war, as consultant on foods to the Quartermaster General of the U.S. Army, he visited GI mess halls around the world and revolutionized the Army kitchens. Here now is George Mardikian.
Every Christmas Eve, I close my restaurant to the public. My wife and I become the hired help to serve our employees. We try to give them the finest Christmas repast. This exchange of roles is symbolic. This is an ancient Armenian custom we have introduced into our American life. Each national group has brought something of its heritage in the form of thousands of different customs, which have become integral parts of life in this country. I believe that true humility is a basic need of mankind today. Why do I believe this? Aside from the fact that Jesus Christ taught it, my own experiences seems to me a living testimony of its truth. As a young man in my native Armenia, I was organizing Boy Scout troops when the Turks and the Russians invaded the Republic of Armenia. I was captured and thrown into prison. I nearly starved to death in this time of crisis. An older and wiser inmate said to me, "Don't lose hope." He was right, for some American friends in the nearest relief helped me to escape. They used the ruse of telling my captors that I was an American. I became an American before I became an American. Eventually, I was able to work my way to the United States. Here I was, a humble immigrant boy, crossing the Atlantic to a country that seemed to answer all my prayers for happiness and freedom. My feelings when I first saw the Statue of Liberty cannot be described. Even today, when I pass it on my frequent trips to Europe, a feeling something like reverence comes over me. When I entered the shower baths at Ellis Island, I found plenty of soap and water. I used them freely because it seemed to me that I was washing away all the hatreds and prejudices of the old world. As I stepped out of the shower and came face to face with a guard in uniform, he actually smiled at me. The smile of a stranger may seem to be a fleeting and significant moment to others, but I remember it vividly because it set the mood for my new life. It was perhaps an omen of the joy and friendship I was to find about me. When I first arrived, I spoke very little English and had practically no money, but I did have enthusiasm, the will to work, and bright hopes for a new life ahead. I got on the westbound train for San Francisco. Everywhere I went, strangers were willing to help, and I felt very humble. This wonderful land has been good to me. It has given me friends by the hundreds in all walks of life. I believe that in this society where love and mutual respect are fostered and encouraged, I must do more than contribute my share towards the material and spiritual well-being of all. I believe that friendship which grows out of love and through humility is the most important thing in life.
That was George Mardikian, restaurateur who is also the president of the American National Committee to Aid Homeless Armenians.
Calling all detectives. Puzzles and coats, weird wills and rhymed notes are the problems reflective on this page from the casebook of Jerry Browning, Private Detective. You may think I'm clowning, but I, Jerry Browning, a private detective, once had a case I called the Poet's Curse. And believe you me, it went from bad to verse. I rapped on the door marked Adam Flynn, and a deep voice called,
Jerry Browning? Well, walk right in.
I saw two men and a little blonde honey. The three Flynn heirs, all after Adam's money. The names were Roger and Harry and Mary Lou.
We need a clever man. That's why we sent for you.
It was Roger who said that. Then Harry picked up the thread. We haven't had a peaceful moment since old Adam is dead. He looked puzzled, Browning. Haven't you read about his will? It's a queer document with a goofy codicil. You see, Uncle Adam thought he was a poet who never had a chance. When he wanted to write, he had to sell pants. He made millions at it, but just the same, he burned because he yearned to be in the literary game. I tell you, Browning, I'm getting softening of the brain. All this rhyming is driving us insane. Mary Lou smiled sweetly as Harry's rage erupted. I saw my chance and interrupted. Just a minute, folks. Let me get something straight. You mean you actually must talk at this rhythmic gait?
That's what we've been telling you. This was Uncle Adam's wish. No wonder we find ourselves in a nice kettle of fish. For 10 whole days we must talk in verse form and make it sound sage. Why, I've memorized a rhyming dictionary page by page. Uncle Adam was adamant, a man of strange sentiment. This is all set down in his final testament. Thus far, we've managed to obey his order.
We've got to. The lawyers have installed a wire recorder. They're checking on us from A to Z. If we don't rhyme all the time, the money goes to charity. I grinned. And I suppose this versifying even includes me. The three Flynns looked grateful. There was a smile on each face. That's the spirit, Browning. Just keep up the pace.
Well, that's only the beginning. Boy, have we got woes. Take a look. The will's codicil will chill you to your toes. It's here on this paper how we have to qualify. It's up to you to figure out the what and where and why.
I picked up the sheet. There were just two lines smack in the middle. Adam Flynn had left his heirs a mighty tricky riddle. The keys in Florida, find it, and you can keep all the riches it took my life to reap.
There you have it, Browning. So the next thing to do is to head for the Southland. That means the three of us. And you.
An eccentric character was old Adam Flynn. He waited till death to give his kin riches. And of course, that's no crime. But his will specified they had to find him in rhyme, and within only 10 days' time. Chug, chug went the train. We were Florida bound. And as far as the riddle, I hadn't found any solution. But my clients weren't upset by my admission. They were just glad of the lawyer's permission.
Yep, they let us get away with no more than our pledge. We need this trip. Our nerves are on edge.
We had dinner in the diner, then sat in the club car. The train was clipping, but we weren't getting far, although Roger and Harry made headway at the bar.
This is wonderful. Come on, Jerry, don't you want to feel frisky? I'll tell you my secret. 12 different words rhyme with whiskey.
He started to reel them off, and I do mean reel. But Mary Lou looked at me with sweet appeal. She wanted to stay on the track of the puzzle. As far as we could figure, the first line wuzzle that made sense. And suddenly I yelled, Mary Lou, I'm getting dense. It says the key's in Florida. Well, just forget the rest. We're certain to find it once we get to Key West. We called for the porter. He brought a map and laid it on our table. As soon as I looked, I was unable to offer enough apologies for that swift and wrong conclusion. Well, the map showed keys in such profusion that it seemed like Florida is in a state of confusion. There was Key Largo, Macomb Key, Long Key, Boot Key, Pigeon Key, Ramrod Key, and a few dozen others. I looked like a monkey to Mary Lou and her brothers, so to cover my embarrassment, I pointed quickly at a dot. Pirates Cove, that seems a likely spot. Mary Lou nodded, said it was worth trying. In fact, since I mentioned it, her uncle talked of buying an old pirate vessel thought to belong to Captain Kidd. It would be like old Adam to have hidden the key to treasure trove at a place by the name of Pirates Cove. Then she recollected how in his den, Adam had a drawing of a pair of men. One was a buccaneer with a vivid orange sash and coat. Roger staggered over.
That's it, sister. He would have walked the plank if he hadn't missed the boat.
Well, when we hit Miami, we rented a car, and as for the course, we made it in par. The road was wide open. We passed through the toll. Nothing could stop us from reaching our goal. Nothing, that is, except the sheriff and his men.
Yo, King Dick here, go on back north again.
Roger got belligerent, started to fight. You've guessed it, we landed in the Pokey. Stayed there overnight. When they let us out, we reckoned the time.
4 days more to talk in this silly rhyme.
That's not good. We're broke or badly bent. If we don't beat that deadline, us Flynns won't have a cent. It was up to yours truly to try to save the day. And suddenly I remembered what Mary Lou had to say about Adam's pirate picture hanging in the old homestead. It had to work on my face like the Flynn's finances would be strictly in the red. I packed him in the car, drove off in high. 2 days later, we were soaring in the sky. And when I got them safely home and into Adam's den, I took down the picture, brought it to the girl and the two amazed men. Here's your uncle's secret, and he's buried it well. He was sure you'd never guess it, because to tell the truth, the key is a word both unique and sly. You can rhyme it with no other, no matter how you try. Now think for a minute. It has to do with Florida's fame. With that, all cried, "Orange!" And then the game began in earnest, for on the pictured pirate's bold orange coat and sash was the clue to Adam's treasure, $4 million in cash. It was all done with dots. They spelled a combination, and when we worked it out, you can imagine the elation. Look, the dots are Morse code, and what do you know? The letters spell a message. The Second National Bank Vault's the place to go. We called the lawyers. They came on the run.
Amazing, remarkable. Old Adam had his fun, but you solved his riddle, did it to perfection.
Roger broke in.
Thanks to Jerry's slick detection.
Yeah, I got all the credit that fine day. What's more, I really made rhyme pay with a great big fine fee, proving that there's more profit than truth in some poetry. Like I said, and you'll probably agree, when you're out on a limb, completely up a tree, just turn a new leaf and don't ever stop. Sooner or later, you'll get to the top. Listen next time to Calling All Detectives. Mystery drama, mystery quiz, and a chance for you to match wits with yours truly, Jerry Browning, Private Detective.
Murder at midnight.
Hook, wait. Come back here.
Wait, nothing. I said you were nuts, crazy. And... No, don't.
I'm sorry, Hook. Very sorry. But I had to have it. I'm going to have it. And once you're dead, you'll never miss it.
Midnight. The witching hour when the night is darkest. Our fears the strongest. And our strength at its lowest ebb. Midnight. When the graves gape open and death strikes. How? You'll learn the answer in just a minute. In The Dead Hand. And now, Murder at Midnight. Tales of terror and retribution by one of radio's best-known mystery writers, Robert Newman. Its title, The Dead Hand. The small studio cottage on Dr. Martin Trent's estate. Seated at the piano, alone in the gathering darkness, is Roger Blaine, the famous pianist. and playing as only he can play.
Can't you hear me, Lorna? You must hear me. You must come here now to me. I'm calling you, Lorna. Calling to you in a way you could never resist. With my music, making your heart beat faster, your breath come quicker. Lorna!
Hello, Roger. Am I disturbing you?
Always, Lorna. Just as I disturb you. As we disturbed each other since the first time we met.
Martin's out at the hospital, and I heard you playing, so...
That's not why you came, Lorna. You came because I called you. Because you promised you'd come and give me your answer.
What we talked about last night, my going away with you? Roger, I must have been mad. I don't know what got into me.
Don't you, Lorna? This is what got into me. My music. Telling you things I never could tell you in words.
Roger, stop. I can't think when you play like that. I can't believe him. He's my husband. I love him, respect him.
Can you love a surgical instrument? Can you compare what you feel towards him with what you feel now, this minute?
No, it is different. Roger, how can we? He's your friend. It was he that brought you here, gave you the cottage.
And haven't I given him anything? Music like this. Music such as no one has ever heard before.
Roger,
Lorna, listen to me. To what I'm saying here. I love you. I need you. It was you who helped me find depths within myself I never knew existed. You've got to come away with me. You owe it to me. To yourself, to the world.
Roger,
you
please.
You know you want to. And you're going to.
Roger, no, I can't. I tell you,
You are.
All right.
Lorna.
We can talk to Martin when he gets home tonight. Tell him. I think he
No,
understands.
Lorna, there'll be no talking, no explaining. My car's outside and we're leaving right now. The music, my music, was still with me as we drove out through the gates, down the highway, pulsing, throbbing. Yes, I could hear it, but could Lorna? I glanced at her sitting there beside me. Happy, dearest?
What? I don't know, Roger.
You don't know? Don't you realize what this means, Lorna? I'm playing better than I ever played before, and this is only the beginning. After my New York concert, South America, then Europe.
Roger, are you sure you love me? Me as a person?
Well, what do you mean, Lorna?
I know you've said you do, but whenever you've talked about it, Roger, about us, you've talked in terms of your music. Roger, are you sure that's not what you love?
Well, of course I'm sure. If I didn't have my music, if I couldn't play, I don't think I could live. But
I know.
It was you. You who lifted me to heights I never dreamed of, technically, emotionally.
Roger, stop the car, turn around, take me back.
What?
Take me back.
I don't understand.
I do, for the first time. With Martin away so much, I was lonely, flattered by your attention. And your music was like a drug, keeping me from thinking. But now I can think. And I know you don't love me, and I don't love you, so please, Roger, take me back.
No.
But, Roger, can't you see this whole thing was a mistake?
It was not a mistake. And I won't take you back.
Well, I'm going back, whether you take me or not, and if you won't stop the car...
No, let go of that brake! Let go! That's it! Look out! We're going... When I opened my eyes, I was in a bare white room in a hospital. Standing next to the bed were Lorna and Martin.
Hello, Roger. How are you feeling?
Well, I don't know. What happened?
You were out driving with Lorna. The car got out of control and you had a smash-up. They rushed you here to the hospital and, well, you've been here for 2 days.
Smash-up? Yes, I remember. Are you all right, Lorna?
Yes, Roger, I was shaken up.
Oh. My hand hurts. Especially the fingers. Nothing happened to it, did it, Martin? I've got a concert in a few weeks, you know.
Roger, don't stop it.
What? Why are you looking at me like that? Oh,
Don't worry about it, Roger. Not now.
Well, I've got to know. I've got to see.
Roger, please.
Gone. Gone. My hand. My left hand. Martin. What did you do to me?
Roger, I think you know how I feel about you, about your music. You've got to believe me when I tell you there was nothing I could do about it. Nothing. It was your hand or your life.
My life? And what is my life without my music? Nothing. Worse than a living death. Why didn't you let me die?
Don't say that, Roger. We'll do anything we can. There must be something.
Something? There's just one thing. You've got to get me another hand.
We will, Roger. There have been some wonderful developments in prosthetics as a
No,
result of the war.
I don't mean an artificial hand. I mean a real hand.
What? Roger, you're mad.
No, I'm not. You took my hand and you'll get me another one.
We'll talk about it some other time.
You think I'll forget about it, don't you? Don't you? Oh, I won't. I say I'm going to have another hand, and I will have one. And what's more, you're going to help me get it, do you hear? You're going to help me. I was able to get up and around a few days later. I didn't talk to anyone if I could help it. Because somehow I couldn't ever look at their faces, only their hands. Big hands and little ones, long-fingered ones and stubby ones. Yes, they each had two hands. And I to whom my piano meant more than life, had only one. Then, sitting alone one evening, I met Hawk. I looked up, and there he was, a small, slight, sharp-featured man.
Hello. Nice evening.
Yes, I suppose it is.
You mind if I sit down for a couple of minutes?
No.
I wouldn't usually bust in on anybody except that... Well, I'm getting out of here tomorrow, and I feel pretty good about it.
Oh? What was wrong with you?
Bad heart. I'm going to have to take it easy from now on. It's going to make it kind of tough in some ways, but... you don't happen to have a cigarette on you, do you?
Well, yes, I do have. It's, there. Well, at least I did have. Silver cigarette case. Can't see.
Is,
Fine.
this it?
What? Well, yeah. Where did you find it?
In your pocket.
You mean you took it?
My name's Harris, Joe Harris. You usually call me the Hook. This is my racket. Or rather, it was until
You're a pickpocket.
Well, wanted the best of business. But now with my ticket going bad, I guess I'll have to lay off, except like now for a gag. You didn't mind, did you?
Mind? Well, certainly not. I'm very impressed. As a matter of fact, do you mind if I look at your hands?
Look at it? What for?
Beautiful. As beautiful a pair of hands as I've ever seen. It occurs to me that you say that you don't know what you're going to do when you leave the hospital here.
Well, I just hadn't thought about it much. Why?
I've got a proposition that might possibly interest you.
No kidding. What?
Well, I'd rather not discuss it with you here and now, but I expect to be leaving here myself on Friday. If you'd like to come and see me sometime after...
You say where and when?
Well, I've been staying at a little cottage on Dr. Martin Trent's estate. I'll probably be going back there. How about Saturday night, late, around 11:30?
Fine. Okay with me.
Then it's a date. I left him there, hurried back to my room. I wanted to be alone. Had to be alone, for I was afraid that what was on my mind might show in my face. It certainly was a date. A date with death.
A man obsessed, half mad, and his unsuspecting victim. Will both of them still be alive to hear it when the clock strikes 12 for... Murder at midnight. And now, here is Roger Blaine to continue Murder at Midnight.
I did leave the hospital on Friday, went back to the little studio cottage. By Saturday night, my arrangements were completed. They weren't very complicated. I made it clear to Lorna and Martin that I wanted to be alone, and I picked up a length of iron pipe. The pipe I hid inside the piano when I heard footsteps coming down the path. There was a knock on the door. Come in?
Hi. Not too late, am I?
No, you're not too late.
Hey, pretty nice place you got here.
Yes, it is quite nice. Sit down.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Now, what's this here proposition you want to talk to me about?
It's a very simple one. How would you like to make $10,000?
What do I have to do?
You don't have to do anything. Just sell me something. Your left hand.
What? You're nuts.
No, I'm serious. I've got the money right here in cash.
I don't get it. I just don't understand.
Look, I'm a musician. I'm a pianist. Or I was until I lost my hand. If I can't go on playing, then life doesn't mean anything to me. My own life or anyone else's. But you, how important is your hand to you? Now, an artificial one will do almost as well. And you can live for quite a while on $10,000.
You mean you really thought I'd sell you my hand? Let you cut it off? I'm getting out of here.
Look, wait.
Wait, nothing. I said you was nuts, but I didn't really think... What are you going to do with that? No, don't you can't. Some way, somehow I'll get you for this. I swear.
I'm sorry, Hook. Very sorry. But I have to have it. I'd rather not go into what happened after that. I got rid of the body. Then I went to see Martin.
You don't look well, Roger. Anything the matter?
No, I just came to see you about your promise.
My promise?
Oh, your debt, whichever you choose to call it. I told you I wanted another hand, that I was going to get another hand, and that you were going to help me. Well, now you can help me.
What do you mean?
Look in here. Inspect. See?
Good Lord. Where did you get this?
Might be better if you didn't ask too many questions. I'm fighting for my life, for more than my life. You took my hand away from me. Well, now you can give me this one.
You mean you honestly, seriously think that I can perform an operation of this sort, do a graft, and that after I'm finished, you'll be able to use the hand?
Why not? Operations of this sort have been done, haven't they? With other parts of the body? The eye?
The cornea, not the eye. And some nerve grafting has been done. But this... Look, Roger, I know what a shock this whole thing has been to you. Know it better than you. You're not a well man.
A well man? I'm only half alive. And I'd rather be dead than go on living this way. But if I do die, I won't die alone. That's why I brought this along. Roger, a gun. Quick, easy, painless. If you won't do what I want, you die. And so does Lorna. Both of you, along with me.
You don't give me very much choice.
No.
All right. You win. Get me to the hospital.
Even before I became fully conscious, before I opened my eyes, I knew that it had been done. That it wasn't his hand anymore, but mine. Still, there was something wrong. I couldn't analyze what it was at first, but it was there. A feeling that something wasn't quite right.
Perhaps it wasn't entirely my hand. I sat up. The hand was a mass of bandages, stiffened with splints. And inside the bandages...
Careful, Roger. Don't touch them.
Huh? Oh, Martin, I didn't see you.
I've been here with you ever since last night.
Last night? You mean I've been out that long? 24 hours?
It was very important that you keep quiet. You've been under sedation.
Oh, yes, of course. This isn't the hospital.
No. I brought you home with me, back to the house.
Oh.
I thought it would be best for several reasons.
Oh, that's very smart, Martin. We don't want any questions, do we? Not yet. You did do it, didn't you?
What? Yes.
I knew you would. Good. And it's going to work. It is working. I can feel it.
Please, Roger. You must be careful with that bandage. You can't touch it, move it, disturb it in any way.
I won't, Martin. But I don't have to. I tell you, I can feel the fingers moving, even inside this. And in another week or so...
We'll see.
Yes. We'll see. Got a cigarette, Martin?
Of course, I have it right. That's funny.
What is?
My cigarette case. It was right here in my breast pocket. I must have left it downstairs or at the hospital.
It doesn't matter. I can do it. Martin.
Yes?
I think... Here, that... This here. Here it is. Under my pillow.
What? How did it get there?
I don't know. It must have fallen out when you bent over. But... No.
Why are you looking like that?
Because... I think I know how it did get under my pillow.
What do you mean?
When fingers learn something, special skill, they don't forget it, ever. Mine never have. Even when I'm not thinking of what I'm doing, they go on playing by themselves. These fingers here, they haven't forgotten either. You understand?
I'm afraid
Forget it. I'm awfully tired all of a sudden, Martin. Would you mind?
No, Roger. I'd like you to get as much rest as possible. There's a friend of mine coming here tomorrow to see you. The doctor.
That's fine, Martin. I'll see you in the morning. Yes, I was tired, but that wasn't why I asked Martin to go. It was because I wanted to be alone, because I had to be alone. Because I knew now what it was that I'd only sensed before. The hand, Hook's hand, had a will of its own. It had picked Martin's pocket without my even being aware of it. I lay there alone in the darkness after Martin went, not touching the bandages, but flexing the fingers, forcing them to obey my will. I had to do that. I knew I had to do it because I suspected what might happen. And what did happen proved that I was right. I fell asleep finally. And while I was asleep, I dreamed. I dreamed I was walking down a dark, labyrinthine corridor somewhere under the earth. Then...
A little closer, Roger.
Huh?
Just a little closer.
Who's that? Who's there?
Just me. Waiting for you.
Hook!
Yeah, Hook. I said it'd get you.
Well, out of the darkness came a hand that clutched me by the throat, gripped it tighter. Tighter! I fought against it, tried to scream, and woke up. Yes, I woke up. And my waking was more horrible than the dream, for the hand was there, gripping me by the throat, moaning, exerting every ounce of my strength and will. I fought it off and pulled it down. I lay there, bathed in a cold sweat, staring at it, feeling the fingers quivering inside the bandages. My hand or his, I was tied to it now. Tied to a thing that was seeking to destroy me. Shaking convulsively, I leaped out of bed. I ran out into the hall and down the stairs to the living room. The piano. It was the one thing that might save me, save my reason. Seating myself at the piano, I started to play, using only my right hand at first. I tried to force my left hand, his hand, to join in. Then suddenly...
No, Roger. That won't work. No music.
Stop it. Do you hear it? It's my hand now. It's mine.
No, Roger. Never.
But it is. I'm stronger than you are.
Nothing is stronger than I am. Nothing in the world. And there's no escape. Because we're one now, Roger. And wherever you go, I'll be there, too.
It's not true. It's not. What are you doing?
Just a little closer to the desk, Roger. A little closer. That paper knife.
Damn it.
But I can't, Roger. Georgia get you somehow. Some way.
Put it down.
Drop you. Can't fight against me, Roger. I told you. I'm too strong.
Martha! Martha! Quick! Say! The hand!
Where is he, Martin?
The living room. I heard the piano and... Good Lord. He's dead.
Why? How? He was saying something about a hand.
He was in a completely psychotic state as a result of shock and a sense of guilt. The state psychiatrist was coming tomorrow to commit him.
Oh, Martin.
That hand he brought me wanted me to graft on. I don't know where he got it, but I suspect that was behind the whole thing.
Behind it?
Yes.
Well, what do you mean?
You don't really think I did graft it on, do you?
Why?
He was desperate, and I had to do something to quiet him. I splinted his left wrist, wrapped it in bandages, and told him not to touch them.
But, Martin, that paper knife in his chest.
Which hand is holding it?
His right one, his good one.
Yes. And still, in a way, it's possible that the dead hand, the one he was so concerned about, did guide it.
Her eyes wide with awful comprehension, Lorna stares at her husband, then down at Roger Blaine's body as, somewhere in the silent house, a clock starts chiming for murder at midnight. Remember to be with us again when death stretches out his bony hand and the clocks strike 12 for murder at midnight. With music by Charles Paul, Murder at Midnight is directed by Anton M. Leader.
This, I believe. George A. McDevitt is a successful businessman who believes in two Bibles. But if you conclude hastily from that he is a hard-headed executive whose only concern is profit in dollars, you will be mistaken. He has profited from a larger view of life. Born in Philadelphia, Mr. McDevitt began his professional career on the old Philadelphia North American, a flourishing newspaper in its day. This experience determined his career. Today, a New Yorker, he heads the George A. McDevitt Company, national advertising representatives for an important group of metropolitan newspapers. Now he takes time off from business to give us his personal creed.
First of all, I believe in God, frankly, because I cannot imagine a universe without a guiding hand. Whenever I hear men ridicule the idea of a supreme being, I recall the words of Benjamin Franklin when he proposed, that the sessions of the Constitutional Convention in 1787 be opened with prayer. If, he said, a sparrow cannot fall without God's knowledge, how can an empire rise without his aid? Personally, I am a man of one faith and two Bibles. My second Bible is Emerson's Compensation, which is the everyday creed by which I try to live. I read that great moral and literary masterpiece when I was a young man, and have never forgotten it, nor ever known its simple but relentless principle of equity to fail. Over the years, I have seen a rough and retributive justice operating in the affairs of men, including my own. Often it is slow to reveal itself, but I am never deluded into thinking that I can escape the penalties for my acts. The mills of the gods grind slowly, but they grind exceeding small. Compensation may be slow to catch up with me, but sooner or later the bill is rendered and the price must be paid. Most of us today are appalled by the hate, the malice, and the corruption in contemporary life. Yet history shows that the conditions we deplore in our times were just the same in other times. If injustice and inequity seem greater today than ever before, it is only because there are more of us, and because man has developed new resources and techniques for making trouble and inflicting pain. Take the atom bomb, for example. I believe that the secrets of the atom will ultimately be an instrument for good. But man's first impulse is to use them as an instrument of destruction. Man's inhumanity to man continues unabated on this unhappy planet. Yet I believe that the law of compensation is working today on a grander scale than it has ever worked since Emerson first gave his great message to the world. Millions who for centuries have worshipped war are at last beginning to realize that everybody dies on the battlefield, no matter who lives after the battle. The soldier pays with his life, the civilian pays with his taxes, and the widow and the orphan pay with their tears. That is compensation, and I believe the world is fed up with it. What Emerson taught by precept, life teaches by example. And I believe that whoever abides by the rule of equity is better able to live in harmony with his neighbor and with himself. In my own case, it has enabled me to build a successful business, to stay on good terms with my fellow man, and to sleep nights with an untroubled conscience. I try, in my own feeble fashion, to do the right thing, amenable to the law of compensation and to the guidance of God, and have thus achieved reasonable happiness and peace.
Those were the beliefs of George A. McDevitt, New York advertising executive, who has spent a long time studying the conflicts of life and has tried to compose them for himself in a reasonable way and with humility.
New post-war Old Dutch Cleanser, famous for chasing dirt, presents Nick Carter, famous for chasing crime. Every week at this time, two great names are joined as new post-war Old Dutch Cleanser brings you one of the most resourceful and daring characters in all detective fiction, Nick Carter, Master Detective.
Don't move, any of you.
Don, where'd you get that gun?
Never mind, just don't make me use it.
Don't be a fool, Don.
I'm not. I'm going out of here, and nobody's gonna...
Don't be too sure.
Anybody else want to try any smart tricks before I leave?
Now, the case of the forgetful killer. Today's adventure starring Lon Clark as Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch Cleanser. In the back booth of a dingy bar in the slum district, a well-dressed young man takes a thick package of banknotes from his pocket and passes it across the cigarette-scarred table to the shifty-eyed little man who sits across from him.
That's every cent I have in the world, Whitey. $6,000. I said 10. Where's the other $4,000? I couldn't get any more. You better get it. Remember that letter I told you about? If anything happens to me, it'll be in the hands of the DA within 24 hours. That'll be the end of you. But Whitey... I'll meet you here tomorrow night, and you... I can't come here again, Whitey. If anyone should... Okay. I'll phone you at the office. Tell you where to bring it. But Whitey... When I get the other $4,000 tomorrow night, or I go to the cops. And you go to the electric chair. For murder.
Don, if there were any way I could raise the money for you, I would. You know that.
Oh, I know, Chris. I wouldn't have asked you, except I've tried everything else. You're the only real friend I've got.
Sure. Now, when you need me, I can't come through.
Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Whitey phoned me about an hour ago. I promised to have the money at the corner of 1st and Water Streets at 1 o'clock tonight. I've got to have it there.
Why, Don? What's he got on you? You can tell me.
No, Chris, I don't want to talk about that. But if Whitey ever tells the cops who I really am, it's the end of everything. And that little rat's got me tied hand and foot.
You mean that letter to the district attorney?
Yes, but... Chris, do you think you could be lying about that letter? If I thought
now,
that...
Don, you're not getting any crazy ideas, are you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. There's only one chance left.
Yeah?
Mr. Hughes gets back from Washington at 11 tonight.
You'll never get him to part with $4,000. If I know our beloved employer, he'll never...
But he's got to. It's my last hope.
But what if he won't?
Then I'll be waiting for Whitey just the same. And it'll be a meeting he'll never forget.
Whitey.
Huh? Oh, it's you, sonny boy. So dark in that doorway, couldn't see you. Okay, where's the $4,000? It's right here. Oh, no, you don't. I've got it. Try and double trap me with it.
Good morning, Matty.
Oh, hi, Nick. Hello, Patsy.
Good morning, Sergeant Matheson.
Mr. Hughes, this is Nick Carter and Patsy Bowen. How do you do?
Hello, Mr. Hughes.
Well, thank goodness you're here at last.
At last?
Mr. Hughes, it's been exactly 17 minutes since Sergeant Matheson phoned and asked us to come down here to your office.
I haven't even had my breakfast yet.
What's this all about?
Mr. Carter, my firm publishes children's and religious books. And notoriety, scandal, unfavorable publicity, anything like that can ruin us. You see, Nick, there was a murder in the waterfront district last night. Cheap little two-bit crook named Whitey Gear was shot to death. We found this slip of paper on Whitey's body.
What? Well, that looks like one of those slips of paper they have in phone booths for people to write phone numbers on.
That's what it is, Patsy. What's the connection, Matty?
The phone number written on that paper is the number of the Hughes Publishing House.
Oh, I see. Oh, hey, there's something else written here, too. Don Mason, 1 a.m., 1st Avenue and Water Street.
Right. And Whitey was found dead at the corner of 1st and Water, shot to death about 1 a.m., according to the medical examiner. So Don Mason...
Now, wait a minute. Who is this Don Mason?
Oh, that, Mr. Carter, is the crux of the whole thing. Don Mason is my sales manager, and he's engaged to my daughter.
Oh, I see. And you think Mason kept the appointment with Whitey and murdered him, huh?
Well, of course, don't you?
I wouldn't know, Matty. This slip of paper with Mason's name on it certainly doesn't convince me.
Well, I don't get you.
From what you tell me, I doubt that Whitey was the kind of man who'd make a memorandum about anything.
Oh, phooey. He did it this time, and that's all I care about, Nick.
Maybe. Look, Matty, has anybody else handled this piece of paper except you and me?
I know. I took it off the body myself. What?
Then let's put it in an envelope and see that no one else does touch it.
Uh-huh. Okay, if you want to. But there's another thing, Nick.
Yeah?
Whitey was a skinny little runt, but from the looks of things, he must have put up a whale of a fight before he was killed. We found a couple of gray wool threads under his fingernails, like from a gray tweed coat. And Whitey's coat was brown.
Oh. Then you think those threads came from the killer's coat during the struggle?
Sure, Patsy. What else?
Uh-huh.
And Mr. Hughes here tells me Don Mason wears a gray tweed coat.
And so do lots of other people, Matty.
You must understand, Mr. Carter, this company simply cannot afford to have one of its executives accused of murder. Now, I want you to prove that Don had nothing to do with this Whitey person.
But what if he did have?
Well, then we'll publicize the fact that Hughes Publishing hired the best detective it could get to see justice done, even though the culprit is one of our own executives. Now, that may help some. Well, how about it, Carter?
Before I give you an answer, Mr. Hughes, I'd like to talk this over with Don Mason.
He hasn't come down to the office yet, Nick. I was just waiting for you to get here before going over to his apartment after him.
A good idea, Matty, except that he may leave for the office before we get to his place.
Oh, I have an idea. Don shares an apartment with my star salesman, Chris Bentley. I could phone Chris down to keep Don there until you arrive.
Yeah, suppose you do that, Mr. Hughes.
And unless he's got a mighty good alibi, that young fella's going to move to another apartment. A small one in the city jail.
Don. Don, wake up.
Oh, you're away.
Wake up, you dope. Snap out of it.
Oh, good morning, Chris. What's the matter?
Old man Hughes just phoned that some people are coming to see you. He says to tell you to wait here until they arrive.
Okay. Oh, I feel terrible.
Don, where were you last night?
Huh?
Get with it, Don. You didn't get in until after I went to bed, and that was 3 o'clock. Where were you?
What? Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
Did you get the money from old man Hughes?
Money? What money?
The money to pay off that blackmailer. Did you get it?
Good grief, why?
Yes, Whitey. Did you see him?
I can't remember whether I did or not.
You mean you had another one of those blackouts?
I guess I must have. Now, let's see. I remember eating dinner here at the apartment with you.
Yes, and afterwards I went out for a pack of cigarettes. But when I came back, you were gone. And so was that gun you keep in your dresser drawer.
What? Oh, Chris, no.
What did you do, Don? Why'd you take the gun? You've got to remember.
Oh, I can't. I can't remember anything.
I went all over town looking for you, but you just disappeared.
Well, from the way my head feels, I think I must have been in some bar. But I don't drink.
Wait a minute.
What are you doing?
Looking for your gun. Yeah, here it is in the pocket of your top coat. And Don, 3 bullets have been fired from it.
What do you mean, 3 bullets? It wasn't even loaded last time, I thought.
Well, it is now. Don, are you sure you didn't meet that Whitey fella?
I don't know. I can't remember. Hey, maybe it's the police who are coming here. Maybe Whitey turned me in.
Now, get hold of yourself. We haven't much time.
What are you doing now?
I'm putting the gun on this little shelf over the door in the coat closet. Not much of a hiding place, but it'll have to do until we can get rid of it.
Chris, I won't let you get mixed up in this.
Now, don't be silly. Now, get this. You never even heard of this Whitey person. You were here all last night. You never left the apartment, understand?
Yeah. I never left the apartment.
After dinner, you and I played gin rummy and listened to the radio until 3 a.m., and then we went to bed. You were here all last night. And I'll swear to it.
And you still say you didn't meet Whitey Gear at the corner of First and Water Streets last night, Mason?
No, I never even heard of the guy, Sergeant.
Then how come he had your name and phone number?
I don't know. Can you prove where you were at 1 o'clock, Don? I was right here in the apartment.
That's right, Mr. Carter. Don never stepped outside all last night.
You'll swear to that?
What? Well, sure I will. We played gin rummy till 3 a.m.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good alibi, Sergeant.
Yeah, if it holds up.
Frankly, Don, you don't look as though you'd spent a quiet evening at home. I'd say you were suffering from a pretty bad hangover.
Well, Mason, Whitey Gear was killed with a .38 revolver. You own such a gun?
No.
You own a gray tweed coat?
Yeah. Why?
Where is it?
Oh, it's in the closet.
Don! Oh, darling, Daddy said you were in some kind of trouble.
Don isn't in any trouble, Betty.
No, honey, it's all right.
Hey, wait a minute. Who's this?
Betty Hughes, Don's fiancée. Say, you're looking fine, Betty. That's a new hairdo, isn't it?
Of course not, Chris. But what did Daddy mean?
I guess it's just because I haven't seen you for so long.
What are you talking about? You saw me only last night.
But what was that?
Chris came over to my house last night looking for Don. He said Don had disappeared, and he thought...
Well...
Don, something is wrong. Well, you are in trouble, aren't you?
You bet he is, Miss Hughes. So he was with you every minute last night, was he, Chris?
Well, Now, look, Sergeant.
I'll talk to you later. Get your hat down. I'm taking you in for the murder of Whitey Gear.
Now, Matty, are you sure you have enough of a case to justify an arrest?
You bet I have, Nick. Why would he frame a phony alibi if he wasn't guilty?
Oh, Chris, if I'd only known.
I tried to tip you off, Betty, but I guess I was pretty clumsy about it.
You ready, Don?
Yeah. I got my hat. And I got this.
Oh, where'd you get that gun?
Never mind. Just don't make me use it. Because if I do, somebody's going to get hurt.
Unmindful of the fact that his action is practically a confession of guilt, Don stands near the door, holding Nick, Matty, and the others at the point of his gun. In just a moment, we'll see what happens next. Now back to the case of the forgetful killer.
Today's adventure with Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch Cleanser. Holding Nick, Matty, and the others at the point of his gun, Don stands beside the door to the inner room of the two-room apartment he shares with Chris.
Now, get into the bedroom, all of you.
Let's do as he says, Matty. No use anyone getting shot.
Thanks, Mr. Carter. I want to be sure nobody's going to... Don't be too sure. Hey. Keep your hand away from your gun, Sergeant. Okay. You hurt, Nick?
No. Just got the wind knocked out of me. Went down through me. That was quite a stunt, Don.
I was a commando in the war. Now, anyone else want to try any smart tricks before I leave?
You're playing this awful dumb, kid.
I'm playing it the only way I can. Now I'm going to lock this bedroom door. And then I'm getting out of here. And heaven help anyone who tries to follow me.
So you both just stood there and let him walk out, did you? A fine pair of detectives you turned out to be.
They didn't just stand there. As soon as they heard the outside door close, Nick and Sergeant Matheson were after him.
Yeah, but by the time we got the door unlocked, he was out of sight.
And he left his wallet in the dresser, along with some small chains, keys, and so on. He won't get far without a cent in his pocket.
Yeah, he left that gray tweed coat, too. I sent it down to the police lab. And if those threads under Whitey Gear's fingernails came from that coat, we'll know it in a couple of hours, Nick. That young scoundrel. When I think of all I did for him.
What did you do for Dom, Mr. Hughes?
Why, I gave him a job, didn't I? You even promoted him to be sales manager when he wasn't in line for the job, simply because Betty was in love with him. Well, I guess she sees a mistake now.
I doubt it. When a girl's in love...
Oh, love fiddlesticks. Before he came along, it was Chris. For him, somebody else.
How long has Don worked for you?
Ever since he came here from Toronto, 1942. He was just out of the Canadian Army. I thought I was being patriotic by helping a disabled veteran.
Disabled?
Yes.
There wasn't anything disabled about the way he threw me clear across that room.
It was a head wound. That's why they discharged him from the Army. He used to have periods when he'd black out completely. He couldn't remember where he'd been or what he'd done for hours at a time, even days. That hasn't happened for a year or so now.
Well, according to Chris, it happened last night. That's why Chris tried to give him an alibi. He said whatever Don did, he wasn't responsible.
Oh, the guy's just getting ready for a plea of temporary insanity, Nick. But he won't get away with it.
Maybe he will, Matty. Unless you can prove a motive.
I'll prove the motive. Don't you worry about that. It seems to me the first thing you've got to do is catch him.
Yeah, well, I'll do that, too. Every cop in town is on the lookout for him, and 5 will get you 10. We have him rounded up inside of 24 hours.
Don, is that you?
Yes. Are you alone?
Yes. Oh, darling, where are you?
Never mind. Betty, I need help. I don't dare try to get in touch with Chris. The cops are sure to be watching the apartment.
If there's anything I can do.
There is. I've got to have some money so I can get out of town. $200.
I'll get it. I'll bring it to you.
No, I won't let you take any chances. Give the money to Chris. Tell him I'll be waiting in the freight yards at the foot of 68th Street at midnight.
Hey, Nick. Nick, we've got it.
Got what, Matty?
The only thing that was missing in this case. The motive. Look at this letter.
Who's it from, Sergeant?
From Whitey Gear, that's who.
Whitey. And let's see.
There you are. He was afraid Don might try to knock him off, so he left this with a friend to be mailed to the district attorney in case anything happened to him. DA got it in the mail about an hour ago.
What are those newspaper clippings, Nick?
I don't know yet. Had dated Portland, Oregon, 1939.
It's all there, even a picture of Don Mason. His real name is Jimmy Burke, and he's wanted for murder.
Murder?
Yeah, Patsy. He was mixed up with a juvenile gang in Portland that robbed a warehouse and shot the night watchman.
And Don was the one who killed him?
That's what this clipping says.
Oh.
The gun that killed the watchman was positively identified as belonging to Don.
He must have escaped into Canada and joined the army there under the name of Mason, huh?
You wire Portland for confirmation, Matty?
Sure I did. No answer yet, Nick.
Hey. Look at the handwriting on this note that was with the clippings.
What about it?
Well, that's Whitey Gear's handwriting. At least his name is signed to it.
So what?
Well, it's nothing like the handwriting on that memo you found in his pocket.
Why, Nick, you're right.
Hey. Maybe Don wrote down the time and place he wanted to meet Whitey and then gave it to him.
No, I don't think so, Matty. I have a hunch that memo was planted.
Yeah? Well, the laboratory boys tested those gray threads under Whitey's fingernails, Nick, and they're definitely from Don Mason's coat.
It's an airtight case.
Yeah, sure. You seem to have everything except a prisoner. You haven't found any trace of Don yet, have you?
No. He won't make a move until after dark. But like you said, he's got to have money. Probably he'll try to get it from Chris. And I've got all my men around that apartment.
I don't think he'll go back to the apartment, Matty.
What?
My hunch is he'll try to contact Betty Hughes.
Hey, maybe you're right. Well, I'll just plant some of the boys around the Hughes house, too.
You won't have to, Matty. I phoned Walter McGlynn. He's watching the place now.
Oh, well, okay. Then we got him, no matter which way he jumps.
I think I'll go on home, Nick. It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's almost midnight.
I know, but I wanted to stick around the office.
Hold it. Nick Carter speaking. Oh, Waldo.
Huh?
What? I see. Where'd she meet him?
Betty met Don somewhere?
No, she met Chris.
Uh-oh.
Where? Why, that's the freight yard.
Nick, what's happened?
Good boy, Waldo. We'll get right on it.
Nick, what is it?
Betty just met Chris in the cafeteria on the east side and gave him a roll of bills.
The getaway money for Don.
That's what Waldo figured, so he trailed Chris out of the cafeteria and heard him tell a cab driver he wanted to go to the foot of East 68th Street.
So that's what you meant when you said the freight yard.
Yeah. Chris just left a couple of minutes ago. We hurry, maybe we can get there first.
Nick, that was Chris ahead of us. I know it was.
Yeah, I got a good look at him when he passed under the light. Where'd he go to?
Maybe he went around the other side of this boxcar.
There are a couple of hundred boxcars in this part of the yard.
You can stop right where you are, Carter.
Don!
Thank heaven we found you, Don. I was afraid you'd...
Chris? Yeah, Don? Get his gun. Okay.
Now, wait a minute, Chris. You're in trouble already. You help him now, that's going to make you equally guilty.
Well, what can I do, Mr. Carter? Don's making me do this at the point of a gun. Aren't you, Don? Sure I am. You got it? You bet.
Don, listen to me. Don't be a fool. You give yourself up, I think I can prove you're innocent.
Innocent? But I'm not. I killed Whitey because he was blackmailing me. I must have.
Do you remember killing him?
Oh, no, I don't remember anything that happened last night.
I don't think you did kill him, Don. In fact, I'm positive you did.
Don't listen to him, Don. It's a trick.
Look, Don, there's only one person who knew where and when you were going to meet Whitey. Only one person who could have drugged you.
Drugged me?
Yes, drugged you. That's why you thought you had a hangover this morning.
So that's it.
This person drugged you, then kept your appointment with Whitey wearing your gray tweed coat.
Chris, it was you.
Okay, let's quit playing games.
You met Whitey. You met Whitey and you killed him.
If you don't drop your gun, stupid, I'm going to use this gun I took from Carter.
Okay.
Now you're being sensible.
But I don't get it. You were my friend. I trust you.
Sure, I was your friend. I didn't mind a bit when you got the sales manager job I should have had, and I was tickled to death when you took my girl away from me.
So that's it.
Sure. With you out of the way, I'll be the new sales manager. I'll be the boss's son-in-law, too. Someday I'll own the whole business.
You're going to have to work awfully fast to do all that before you go to the chair for killing Whitey, aren't you, Chris?
Who's going to send me to the chair? Not any of you three. Because when Carter and Don get through fighting it out, I'm afraid there won't be any survivors. What are you talking about? It'll be easy, Carter. I've got your gun to shoot Don with, and then I'll take his gun to finish off you and Miss Bowen.
Chris, you're crazy.
The cops will think Carter tried to arrest you, and you shot it out.
Why, that's ridiculous. Someone will hear the shot.
That freight engine is going to pass on the other side of this boxcar in a few seconds. It'll make enough noise to cover anything, even gunshots. With a passing freight engine to cover the sound of gunfire, Chris's finger tightens on the trigger. We'll see what happens in just a moment. Now for the conclusion of the case of the Forgetful Killer. Today's adventure with Nick Carter, brought to you by new post-war Old Dutch Cleanser. In the freight yards at the foot of 68th Street, Chris Bentley is holding Nick, Patsy, and Don Mason at the point of a gun, waiting only for the noise of an approaching engine to cover the sound of his shot before he fires. Here's the engine. So get ready. You first, Don, old pal.
Sergeant Matheson.
Unless you want me to point this Tommy gun lower than this time.
About time you got here, Matty.
I started as soon as I got your phone call, Nick.
You're not going to take me in?
Nick, he's getting away.
Not so fast, chum. There. That'll hold you for a while.
Good work, Don.
Holy mackerel, Don.
What did you do to it? Didn't you recognize that stunt, Matty? It's the same one he used on me. And I can tell you from experience that Chris isn't going to do any more running away. Not for a minute or two.
I can't thank you enough for what you did, Nick. But, well, I guess it wasn't much use. They'll only send me back to Oregon to stand trial for the killing that night, killing the night watchman back in 39.
Oh, no, they won't, Don. Sergeant Madison wired the Oregon police about you, and they wired back that the charge had been dropped.
That's right, Don. About a year later, the real killer was caught, and he confessed.
For the love of peace.
You were completely cleared.
But if Chris wanted to get rid of me, why did he kill Whitey to do it? Well, for all he knew, he only had to sit tight and let Whitey turn me in.
He said you were going to Mr. Hughes for the money, and he was afraid you might get it.
And he couldn't turn you in himself because you wouldn't tell him what Whitey had on you, or even what your real name was.
Yeah, that's right. But even after he killed Whitey, to make sure the DA got that letter, Chris tried to give me an alibi. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, that was only a part of his scheme to put himself in a good light with Betty Hughes. He knew that alibi wouldn't stand up.
In fact, he made sure it wouldn't stand up by going to a dozen places looking for you. He knew someone would remember that he'd said you disappeared and couldn't be found.
And to think you figured the whole thing out from that piece of paper with my name on it. And the time and the place where I was supposed to meet Whitey.
Just a minute, Don. That's not quite true. That slip of paper looked a bit phony to me, but that was all.
When Chris tried to incriminate you by putting that piece of paper in Whitey's pocket, he was actually furnishing the evidence that was going to convict him.
Well, how do you mean?
He forgot a very important thing. Fingerprints.
Fingerprints?
Yes. Whitey's fingerprints weren't on that paper. So obviously he couldn't have written it.
But Chris's fingerprints were all over it.
Wow, he did forget something important, didn't he?
Uh-huh. But, say, Nick, you didn't know about those things until an hour ago. Why were you so sure Don was innocent?
I became convinced the minute he threw me across the room in his apartment.
What'd that have to do with it?
Well, Whitey was a scrawny little fellow. Yet Matty said he put up quite a fight before he was killed.
Oh, I see what you mean. If Don could put you flat on your back in 2 seconds, a little guy like Whitey would have been licked before he started.
Right, Patsy. Well, this is the first time in my memory that a man has made a friend of me by knocking me down.
How about the adventure new post-war Old Dutch cleanser is going to bring us next week, Nick?
Well, Ralph, it's about a young fellow who wanted to buy his wife a diamond ring and almost bought himself a one-way ticket to the electric chair instead.
And he completely ruined my new look, not to mention almost giving me pneumonia.
Oh, that was my fault. You see, Ralph, the only way I could keep Patsy from being shot was by pouring cold water on her.
Sounds as though you had a rough time, Patsy.
Well, I did.
What do you call this adventure, Nick?
I call it The Case of the Clue Called X.
Nick Carter, Master Detective, is presented each week at this time by the Cudahy Packing Company. It is produced and directed by Jock McGregor and is copyrighted by Street and Smith Publications, Incorporated. Charlotte Manson is featured as Patsy. Ed Latimer plays Matty. Today's script was written by Jim Parsons. Original music is played by Henry Silburn. This program is fictional, and any resemblance to actual persons living or dead is purely coincidental. This is Ralph Camargo saying, when minutes count, use new post-war Old Dutch cleanser.
This I believe. Mr. Zoo is the name that identifies George P. Vierheller, the director of the St. Louis Zoological Gardens. Until the age of 36, he led a rather humdrum life as a telegrapher. He and the Morse code came to a parting of the ways when he suffered telegrapher's thumb. He became the secretary of the Zoological Board of Control, and it was not long before he moved out to the zoo. That was 33 years ago. But the slender, wiry zoo director with his ruddy complexion, white hair, and bright blue eyes never seems to grow tired of watching, talking about, and showing visitors the animals and shows in his garden. Here is George Vierheller.
In this era of bewildering conflicts between nations and even between factions within our own nation, I find it difficult to know to what truisms in my thinking I wish to give the label, "This I believe." So often these days one's most ardent beliefs are either pushed aside or modified by the very force of someone else's disbelief. But when I tune out the static of the age in which we live,
I do find some clear-cut fundamentals that have been and still are the code of my life. I believe in the individual, and I believe in opportunity. I believe that in spite of the keenly competitive nature of present-day society, each one of us, given the proper freedom of choice and incentive, can reach the top of his own capability wave if he so wishes. I believe, too, that the inner satisfaction stimulated by striving for the accomplishment peak can often outshadow the urge to grasp for monetary reward alone and can decrease the expectation of high pay for inferior workmanship. I have tried to encourage and to praise my employees whenever possible. I believe that much of my personal success and the success of the St. Louis Zoo has been achieved by my belief in the men who work for me. Although there must be a beginning somewhere from which we move, I believe that a degree of discontent is healthy. Once, when I was much younger and applying for one of my first jobs, the man who was interviewing me said, "This is the opening we have. If you are completely satisfied with it, you are not the man we want." I believe the urge to improve is vital to a well-adjusted life. The things that have been done can always be bettered. One's inner self and one's work should never become stagnant. To me, a life that follows a horizontal wave, showing no growth and no change, could be a living death. I also believe in service. The desire to serve something, one's community, one's church, one's chosen work, is, to me, a requirement of being alive. My father used to say that he did each day's work as if on that day he was proving his fitness to hold his job. His philosophy to serve impressed me when I was a child, and I think I have always tried to follow it. I believe that more knowledge can often be acquired by sugarcoating the source of it than by cold statements or representations. Old-time zoos told, in their way, just as much about the variances and awesomeness of nature, but they drove the people away. We, by adding pleasure to our educational features, have brought visitors from many parts of the world to us. I believe in the family. Mine has encouraged me to grow and to look upon each day as a rung on a ladder leading to something new. And finally, I believe in friendship. We cannot live this life alone. I like people. I like to do things for people. I believe it is good to have life around me. Perhaps that is why I have liked working with animals. I feel that my profession has helped me to give of myself to life.
Those were the beliefs of George P. Vierheller, the director of the Zoological Gardens in his native St. Louis.
Wheaties presents Night Beat. On stage tonight from Hollywood, Night Beat, another in the Wheaties' big parade of exciting half-hour presentations. Night Beat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the Night Beat for the Chicago Star. Stories start in many ways. That night, my story began with the innocent ringing of my telephone. I didn't know that on the other end of the line was death.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
When you get up and stretch and find your way to the kitchen tomorrow, reach for the Wheaties. Lay spoon to whole wheat. Whole wheat that can help make a difference all morning long. Start a good breakfast with Wheaties for the roll-up-your-sleeves kind of energy that can make the morning go smoother. There's a whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. You got it? A whole kernel of wheat in every Wheaties flake. That's why Wheaties can do so much. That's why Wheaties at 7 can really help at 11. Tumble out those golden flakes, pour on the milk, put on the fruit, pick up the spoon, and smile. You're getting nourishment to help send you through the morning on high. You do it. Help yourself to Breakfast of Champions. And see how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
was my night off. I locked the door, pulled down the window shades of my $6-a-week ivory tower, and took the cork from a bottle of, Mother Jones' soothing stomach syrup, and reached for, you should pardon the expression, a book. Oh, what the heck, a lot of people read books. School children, for instance. Tonight, some other poor sucker was walking the night beat, and as far as I was concerned, the whole world could take a walk. But as it turned out, the joke was on me. The world took a walk, all right into my snug little ivory tower. It began modestly enough with the ringing of my telephone. Yeah?
Randy, this is Matt Cummel. Where have you been?
Oh, look, Mr. Editor, I'm on my own time.
I called every redhead in town. I called every bar and grill. I called the police station, the county hospital, the morgue. Where have you been?
Well, you found me, Matt, at home.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You'll never guess who's looking for you.
Okay, I'll never guess.
Mr. De Stout's come to town.
Edward De Stout, our distinguished publisher?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to talk to you about that night beat stint of yours.
What about it?
Well, he's got some ideas. Maybe he wants to expand it into a column. He's only going to be in town until tonight, so he wants you to phone him right away. Andover 23820. You got it?
Yeah, what are we calling him this season? Father of the Waters, Star of Stars, or just plain Bill?
Randy, call him right away. It sounded important.
Okay. So long. Good evening, Mr. De Stout. Your humble servant, Mr. De Stout. Now drop dead, Mr. De Stout.
Jerry's on that garage.
Garage, is this, Andover 23820?
No, this is 30829. You must have dialed wrong.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. 2, 3, 8, 2, 0. Busy. Well, I'd have to try again in a couple of seconds, so I didn't even bother putting the receiver back on the hook. And from that little thing, it all began. I started thinking, isn't it funny how by just missing one number on the dial, instead of getting a millionaire publisher with ulcers, I got Jerry's all-night garage? What would have happened if I dialed 7 instead of 9? Then who would have answered the phone? It was a strange thought. Through this little dial, the whole city was at my fingertips. I remembered reading somewhere that there were 6 million telephone combinations on one dial. Then on the spur of the moment, I did a dumb thing. I spun the dial 7 times in rapid succession without even looking at the numbers. And the phone started ringing. I had a connection. Where was it ringing? Who had destiny chosen to get my call? Some frowsy little gal crying her eyes out in the back bedroom? A dozing night watchman in an office closed for the night? Was my call interrupting a family brawl in some dark flat on the north side? Was it breaking up the sleep of some poor guy working a night shift? Well, wherever it was ringing, there was no answer. So I tried dialing De Stout's number again. I thought, what a swell idea for a column. The whole city at your fingertips. Still busy. So again, just for the fun of it, and without looking at the phone, I dialed 7 times.
Fred, listen, darling, don't hang up again. Let me talk to you. Please, please, darling.
Hey, what is this?
What? Oh, I thought... What do you want?
Oh, nothing. I must have dialed the wrong number. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Don't hang up. Maybe you can help me.
Help you? What is it?
My life's in danger.
Come again?
I've got to have a doctor right away.
Well, I'll call one for you.
But I can't have any doctor. I've got to call one who would understand. One who wouldn't betray Fred.
Then why don't you call Fred's doctor?
I've called Dr. Bechtel.
Bechtel?
Yes, Russell Bechtel. He's Fred's doctor. But his nurse says he's out on a call and she doesn't know where to reach him. I couldn't tell her the trouble I'm in. She wouldn't understand. She'd only tell me to call the police.
The police?
Yes. Fred's had one of his attacks. He's threatened to kill me again. And this time he's gone for a gun.
Oh, well then, sister, you better call the police.
No. They put Fred away for good, and I couldn't stand that. I'd rather be dead.
I get it.
You don't believe me.
Oh, you catch on fast. Who put you up to it, honey? Sounds like the boys on the police beat.
Listen, you've got to believe.
Does it say so in the Constitution? Look, I'm pretty busy.
Please, you've got to. You've
Wait a minute. How could this be a gag? You didn't call me. I called you.
I swear I'm telling you the truth. You've just got to believe me. It's my only chance.
Keep talking.
Look, I don't know who you are or how you happen to call this number, but if you don't help me, I'm finished. All Fred needs is a doctor, one we can depend on. Fred's been sick for a long time. When he gets these spells, he temporarily goes out of his mind. And Dr. Bechtel can always snap him out of it.
Well, we'll call him.
But I told you I can't reach Dr. Bechtel.
Well...
Oh, you must believe me. And you've got to promise not to call the police.
What are you talking about? If your life's really in danger, of course I'll call the police.
All right, then just forget the whole thing. Goodbye.
Wait a minute. Don't hang up. Just give me a chance to catch my breath, will you? Now, let me see.
Yes?
Well, okay, you sound like a good kid. Maybe I can get you to a doctor. My doctor, Lawrence Blair.
Will he do as I say?
Yeah, but I better be able to tell him a few things about this, or he'll just tell me to go to bed with an ice bag and a couple of aspirins. Just who is this guy, Fred?
He's my husband, Fred Schwery.
He threatened to kill you?
Yes, as soon as he returns.
Why don't you get out of the house before he returns?
I'm not in my house.
Oh?
We were out driving when he got this spell. Oh, it was terrible. Terrible.
All right. Now try to relax. Now tell me about it.
We started accusing me of not loving him anymore. And he threatened me like a madman.
Yeah?
And then he drove me to the studio and locked me in. Said he was going for a gun to kill me.
Where is this studio?
I'm not sure. I didn't watch closely. I was pleading with him all that time.
Oh, fine. That makes it dandy.
I never knew about the studio. He's a commercial artist, so I guess he came here to work. See, we've only been married for 3 months.
Well, aren't there any windows you can break through and get out?
No, it's on the 8th floor.
Well, what about the fire escape?
It's the end of the building. I've pounded on the door and tried to get help, but no one's come. We haven't lived in this city very long. I've called a few friends we know, but no one's home. I don't know what to do.
Now, look, there's no time for that. I'm going to get my doctor over to you. I got to know where you are. Now, you go and look out the window for any identifying landmarks that would help us find you.
All right. Well, please don't hang
No,
up.
I won't hang up. Now, go on. Step on it. While I waited for her to return, I opened my collar and I loosened my tie. What had I gotten into? Me? Nothing. But what about that poor kid? Why wasn't she back on that phone? Where was she? Come on, lady. Where was she? And then she was back.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I was so afraid you'd hung up.
Well, now do you have any idea where you are?
Well, there's a big warehouse directly across from this building.
Yeah.
And about a block east of here, I can see a radio tower. But I can't quite make out the name on it.
A radio tower. What else?
Well, there's just the usual apartment buildings along the street. But on the corner, there's a large supermarket.
A supermarket? Anything else?
Yes, there's a park a few blocks away. Looks like Lincoln Park.
And the building you're in now, can you tell me anything about it?
It's white brick. And there are 2 more floors above this one.
All right, okay, we'll be able to find you. I'll call my doctor right away. He knows the city better than the guys who built it. He'll find you. And I'm going to stay right here at this phone. If anything goes wrong, I want you to call me right away. You understand?
Yes, I will.
My number is Butterfield 13003. Have you got that?
Butterfield 13003.
That's right.
But remember now, I'm depending on you not to call the police.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because if you do, I'll deny everything. Maybe that sounds crazy, but you don't know how much I love Fred. How wonderful he is to me when he's well.
Yeah, well, kid, nothing sounds crazy to me anymore. I'm even ready for that thing about the storks. Now, don't forget to call me right back if you need me. I'll call my doctor right away.
All right.
When I hung up the phone, I was ready for a blood transfusion. I tried to light a cigarette, but the match shook so much you'd have thought I was signaling somebody. But then as I reached for the phone book to call my doctor, I started thinking again. I said, oh, Randy, it's too pat to be true. I couldn't help imagining that someplace a room full of practical jokers were doubled up in laughter over the way the girl had taken me in. But how could that be when I called her? Well, just the same, I'd better check. She said her doctor was Russell Bechtel. Before I called my doc, I'd call this fellow Bechtel just to make sure. I found his number in the book.
Edgewater 66989.
Dr. Bechtel's office?
Yes. Who's calling, please?
I'm a newspaperman on the store. I'd like to talk to the doctor.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's not in now. He's out on a call. Can I help you?
Well, maybe. Does the doctor have a patient named Fred Schwery?
Well, these things are confidential.
Yes, look, man, there's no time for that. A few moments ago, I spoke to Fred Schwery's wife. She told me that Schwery had gone into a violent fit of some kind.
He's had another attack?
Yes, he's got her locked in his studio, and he's gone for a gun to kill her.
Then you'd better call the police right away.
You mean she was telling me the truth?
I mean, Fred Schwery's a dangerous paranoiac. He's had 3 attacks in the last 2 months.
Why wasn't he put away?
Oh, the doctors begged that girl to commit him to asylum, but she's so stubborn.
You know the address of Schwery's studio?
No. The doctor might.
But
I've no way of reaching him till he calls in. Our records show only Mr. Schwery's home address.
All right, thank you. Will you please call me back if you reach the doctor? My number is Butterfield, 13003.
Yes, of course, but what are you going to do?
Well, I don't know. She wants me to get my own doctor out there. She gave me enough landmarks to find the place.
Then you'd better hurry, because if Schwery's had another one of his attacks, and he gets to that girl with a gun, you'll never find her alive.
Yes, I know. Goodbye, thank you. So the poor kid had been telling me the truth. I know I ought to call the police, but I remembered her saying that if I did, she'd deny ever talking to me. Yes, and maybe she was stubborn like the nurse said, but she was also a mighty brave kid. I started looking through the phone book for my doctor's number. Black, Blaine, oh, where is it? Is it Blair, Jasper, Lawrence? There it is, Dr. Lawrence Blair, Radcliffe 41079. Before I could dial the number, my phone started ringing. Yeah?
I can only talk for a second. I was looking down. I just saw Fred drive up in the car. It's too late for the doctor.
Yeah, but not for the police. I'll call him right away.
No, you can't.
But don't you see your life is in danger? If he's insane, he's got to be restrained.
Oh, please give me a little time to try to handle it my way.
No, I refuse to.
Then I'll tell Fred the police are coming for him. Give him a chance to get away.
But you don't understand.
I only understand that I love Fred. Nothing else matters one bit. I talked him out of these attacks before, and I'm going to try to do it again.
All right. How much time do you want?
Give me half an hour.
No, 15 minutes. If you don't call back in 15 minutes, I'll know you're in trouble, and I'll have the police out there at once.
15 minutes. All right, now I've got to hang up. He's unlocking the door.
Now remember, 15 minutes.
Yes, I've got to hang up now.
General Mills is bringing you Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
Salesmen can sell better, farmers can farm better, housewives can housewife better on a better breakfast. Sure, and sure as you start with Wheaties, you're going to have a good start to a better breakfast. Yup, whatever you do, whatever your job, do it better, smoother, easier with Wheaties to help. Because there's a whole kernel of wheat for every Wheaties flake. And what a difference that can make. Whole wheat protein for vigor and stamina. Whole wheat vitamins and minerals for vitality. Naturally, it makes a difference. Naturally, you should feel a bright and pleasing difference in your morning with whole wheat Wheaties tucked inside. Have some and see. You'll enjoy yourself, too. They're good to get up to, these golden flakes. Crisp, you know, not sweet. Fill those breakfast bowls with Wheaties, pour on the milk, put on the fruit, and eat happy. Yes, eat happy and work happy. It's likely to be a brighter morning when you've had your Wheaties. Thousands of people think so, too. Get up and go, folks, people with things to do and places to go. They're getting breakfast of champions in the morning. Are you? Get yours. Starting tomorrow, see how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11. Wheaties, breakfast of champions.
And now, back to Night Beat and Randy Stone.
This time I'd hit the jackpot in spades. I was just doodling on the phone, spinning the dial without even watching it, when I got a girl waiting to be killed by her crazed husband. I promised to wait 15 minutes to give her a chance to snap the guy out of it, and if I didn't hear from her at the end of that time, I was to call the police. I wasn't sure my watch was right, so I dialed at the correct time.
At the tone, the time will be 6:05.
My watch was a couple of minutes slow. I reset it exactly. 6:05. Okay, if I didn't hear from her by 6:20, I'd call the police. Her husband was with her now. I could close my eyes and see that madman threatening her life in that studio. I felt my stomach cramp up like a troop of Boy Scouts were practicing their nuts. Why had I promised to wait? Maybe this was her. I felt tiny chills race up and down my fingers as I reached for the phone. Yeah?
I want to speak to Margie.
Huh?
Tell her it's Hal. Go on, call her the phone, you hear me?
Look, pal, you've got the wrong number. So long.
Wait a minute, just wait a minute.
Look, will you hang up?
Don't give me none of your lip, mister. Just call Margie to the phone.
I'm expecting an important call. Hang up.
Yeah, well, let me tell...
Dope. Oh, what time was it? 6:07. I took the watch off my wrist and set it on the telephone table under the lamp so I could see it easily. I watched the tiny hands circling so slow. 6:08. What was happening in that studio? This might be her. Yeah?
This is a nationwide radio survey.
What's that?
Are you listening to your radio?
Will you please hang up? I'm expecting an important call.
Oh, I'm sorry to have bothered you, sir. Thank you.
What if she'd call when someone else was on the phone? I had to keep the line clear.
Operator?
Operator, I'm expecting a very important call during the next 10 minutes, and I don't want to receive any other calls. Can you help me?
Is the call you're expecting long distance, sir?
No, it's local.
It would be impossible to block out your line for local calls, sir, because then the call you're waiting for would be unable to come through.
Oh, yes, I hadn't thought of that. Thank you. Bye. 6:09. Had only 1 minute gone by. I could feel my nerves tightening up like someone was turning a screw. She should be calling soon. What was happening to her? Miss Query?
I want to speak to Margie.
Didn't I tell you you've got the wrong number? Get off the line and stay
I
off.
got to rise up, all right, smart guy. You just put Margie on the phone, you hear me? You tell her it's Hal.
Why doesn't that bum stop calling? Why didn't he stop? Oh, okay. Come on. Relax, kid. Relax. 6:12. Why had I promised to wait? I should be calling the cops right now.
Operator?
What do I dial for the police department?
You dial 211, sir. Or I can connect you.
No, not yet. I was just wondering about it. Thank you. I promised her I'd wait. Maybe she could control the guy, but why wasn't she calling? 6:13. Time was passing so slow. Oh, if that's that drunk again. Who is it?
Stone, what are you trying to do to me? Get me fired?
Oh, Matt, it's you.
Yeah, your boss and editor. Who are you expecting? Truth or consequences?
Look, Matt, hang up, will you? I'm waiting for a call.
Waiting for a call?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you, Randy? Didn't I tell you to call Mr. DeStout? He's waiting for your call, you crazy loon, and you know how our honored publisher likes to be kept waiting.
Yeah, I haven't time to explain, Matt.
Don't explain anything. Get on that phone and call Andover 23820. Now, that's an order. He just called and tore into me. He asked me if he was expected to phone you. He's pouting up there, Randy, feeling abused. Then you know what happens when Mr. DeStout feels abused.
Yes, all right. Hang up, Matt.
You'll call him.
Yes, right away. Hang up.
Okay, and after you talk to him, call me back.
Yeah. I looked at my watch, 6:17. There was just 3 minutes left to get her call. I couldn't phone DeStout now. What if she should phone when I was talking to someone else? What if she had only that one chance and all she got was a busy signal? No, I couldn't call now. Hello.
Hello. Is this the Stone residence?
Yes, what do you want?
I'd like to speak to Mrs. Stone, if you don't mind.
There isn't any Mrs. Stone. Look, I'm very busy.
No, Mrs. Stone. Well, I'll just have to talk to you then, won't I?
Yes, but some other time.
I beg your pardon.
I'm very busy now.
Oh, this won't take but a tiny moment, and I have so many calls to make.
Look, madam.
I've been appointed by our local committee to call you about the coming election, to ask you to cooperate with us in our drive to register all voters regardless of party.
Madam, I'm not old enough to vote.
But if we all vote, then don't you see we can do something?
Look, I'm going to have to hang up.
But for heaven's sake...
Some other time. Yeah.
Well, you better hang up on me again.
Will you stop calling this number? 6:19, and she hasn't called. I'm going to wait for 1 more minute to pass, and then I'm going to call the police. Hello.
Randy Stone?
Yes?
I asked Matt Cummel to have you call me, Mr. Stone, but apparently you were unable to. The This is Edward de Stout speaking.
Oh, the big boss. Oh, no.
What's that?
Yes, Mr. de Stout. I was going to call you as soon as I had the time.
As soon as you have the time. Well, I must say, that's not exactly flattering, Stone. I'd rather imagine.
Mr. de Stout, I'm expecting a very important phone call.
There are
and
people who think that a call from me is also rather important.
Can I call you in 5 minutes?
And what am I supposed to do? Just sit here waiting for your call like a lackey? I believe Connell told you I'm leaving tonight.
But, Mr. de Stout...
So we'll talk now, if you don't mind.
Look, instead of talking about this on the phone, how about me taking a cab over to your place as soon as my call comes through? We could talk it over much easier.
Oh, I think we can handle the matter over the phone very nicely.
But we can't handle it over the phone. Don't you see? A girl's life is at stake, and you prattle on like we had all day.
A girl's life at stake, is it?
Yes.
I've heard about your talents for invention, Mr. Stone, but I don't think I enjoy the idea of you practicing them on me.
Look, de Stout, I'm afraid I'm going to have to do something else you won't enjoy. I'm afraid I'm going to have to hang up.
I wouldn't do that.
What time is it now? 6:21. It couldn't be. I couldn't have talked to him that long. Oh, hurry.
At the tone, the time will be 6:21 and 1/2.
6:21 and 1/2. Well, I've kept my part of the bargain.
Police Department, Sergeant Harris speaking.
Oh, Harris, this is Randy Stone. Listen to me closely. We don't have any time to lose.
What's up, kid?
You better send out an all-points alarm on this. It's got to be fast.
Hey, slow down. I can't understand you.
Look, a while ago I spoke to a girl on the phone. She told me her life was in danger. She was locked in a studio and her husband was coming there to kill her.
Easy now, easy. I gotta write this down.
We got to move fast and we're not going to make it.
Go on.
This husband of hers, he's insane. He became violent.
How long ago did you talk to this dame?
15 minutes ago.
Why'd you call us right away?
I'll tell you all about it later. We got to get to her.
Okay. What's the address of this studio?
I don't know her address. It's the first time I ever spoke to her.
Hey, Stone, you've been drinking.
No, I'm telling you the truth.
So how are we supposed to find her?
Well, she gave me a landmark she saw from her window. She gave me enough so you guys can get right to her.
All right. What are they?
All right, now let me see. She said her window looks right out on the blank walls of a warehouse.
Whose warehouse?
Well, she didn't say.
Oh, that's a big help. Next.
Well, she could see the tower of a radio station about a block away.
Could she make out the call letters of the station?
No.
That's no good. What else?
What do you mean, no good?
How many stations you got on your radio, Stone? What else?
Well, there's a supermarket down the street, a big supermarket.
Supermarkets are all over the place.
Yeah, but this one's near Lincoln Park.
What does that mean? The whole north side's near Lincoln Park. What else?
Nothing else. You add all those things up, it's got to lead you somewhere.
Yeah, we could find her all right in 3 or 4 hours.
But that's no good. The fact she hasn't called back means she's in trouble. If you don't get there right away, it'll be too late.
Hey, wait.
What?
Well, we're a couple of dopes.
What do you mean?
She called you, would you call her?
I called her.
Okay, we're in business.
Huh?
We'll have a squad car up to that studio in 3 minutes.
I don't get it.
You call her, don't you see? All you got to do is give us her phone number, and through the phone company, we can trace down her address in 30 seconds. What number did you call?
What number did I call?
Come on, Stone, come on. We've got to move.
But I don't know what number I called. I didn't even look at the dial.
Come on, Stone, speak up. What number did you call?
I don't know what number I called.
You don't know?
Don't you understand? I don't know. I'll never know.
What?
I was doodling with the phone, and she answered.
Oh, well, I guess we'll just have to try to find her with the information you gave us. It's going to take a long time, but there's nothing else we can do, huh, Stone?
Well, there's 6 million combinations on a dial. No, there's nothing else we can do. I hung up the phone and just sat there. I wanted to die quick and easy. What was I going to do now? How was I going to be able to go on living as though nothing had happened? I was just as much of a murderer as that crazy husband. How could I be so stupid? Why didn't I ask for a number? Why didn't I? Yeah?
Mr. Stone?
Yes?
This is Dr. Bechtel's nurse, Mr. Stone.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so glad I got you. It's all right.
What's all right?
I was able to locate Dr. Bechtel just after you called.
You what?
He knew the address of the studio, all right, and he got there in plenty of time. We're sending Sworry to a sanitarium for treatment.
And the girl?
Oh, she's fine. Had to give her a sedative, though. That's why she didn't call herself. But all's well that ends well, like they say.
Oh, you know what I've been doing the last 15 minutes waiting for her call? I'm half nuts myself. I'm ready for a straitjacket.
But, Mr. Stone...
Why didn't you call me right away?
But, Mr. Stone, I've been trying. Your line's been busy.
Yep, that's what's called learning a lesson the hard way. The lesson being that ivory towers went the way of hoop skirts and 60-cent steaks. Nope, there's no escaping from the world. We're all tied together, for better or worse, whether we like it or not. And no matter how well you lock your windows and bar your door, the dreams and the fears and the hopes of all your fellow men are still no farther away than your fingertips. Oh, no, I won't answer. No, I can't. Oh, well, what's the use? Yeah?
Listen, I want to speak to Marge.
Oh, shut up. Oh, you know something? Next month I may decide not to pay my phone bill. Copy... Oh, no, what am I doing?
You're listening to Night Beat on the Wheaties Big Parade.
Oh, Frank Lovejoy.
Yeah.
How do you like that slogan we've got for Wheaties?
Oh, you mean that one about 7 and 11?
Yeah, you know. See how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11.
Well, I think it's swell. How'd you happen to think of it?
Well, can you keep a secret?
Oh, Silent Frank, they call me. Shoot.
Well, the other morning I missed my Wheaties. Imagine. And I tell you, Frank, by 11 o'clock I felt like I'd been put through the ringer. I was worn to a frazzle.
Well, it just goes to show you.
You know it. It certainly convinced me that if you eat Wheaties at 7, you get the energy you need to help you feel good right on to lunchtime.
Oh, so you thought up see how Wheaties at 7 can help at 11, hmm? Well, no wonder they call you the Wheaties man.
That's right, Frank. Good night.
Night.
Night Beat, starring Frank Lovejoy, is produced and directed by Warren Lewis and written by Larry Marcus with music by Frank Worth. The part of the girl was played by Lorene Tuttle. Others in tonight's cast were Catherine Card, Barbara Dupar, Bill Lally, Peter Leeds, and Jay Novello. Frank Lovejoy will next be seen in Milton Sperling's production 3 Secrets, released by Warner Brothers. Listen next week and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness.
And this is the Wheaties man, Frank Martin, inviting you to listen also Tuesday, that's tomorrow night, to the Penny Singleton Show on the Wheaties Big Parade. See you then.
Night Beat came to you from Hollywood. Now you can hear the first piano quartet on NBC.
This, I believe. George R. Higginbotham is the president of the Consolidation Coal Company in his native West Virginia. He has been in the coal business for 25 years, starting as an unskilled laborer. He advanced to various supervisory jobs inside the mines, where day is night and night is night. He emerged from the dark of the mines not only with experience, but with a philosophy. Here is George Higginbotham.
Until I received an invitation to appear on this program, the moral and spiritual beliefs by which I live have never been clearly defined in my mind. Yet, having thought them through and through and discovered the extent to which they govern my everyday action, at the risk of sounding pretentious, I am pleased to call them my creed. With a belief in the power and the need of friendship, one of my rules for living is to avoid, whenever possible, any thought or action which may cause needless distress to another being. This I label my principle of kindness, one of the first requirements for real friendship, and one which can easily be overlooked or neglected. I have never found any compensation in making a gain at the expense of another, and I never intentionally make an enemy, nor do I permit an enmity to exist if it lies within my power to remedy the situation. Another practice which has done wonders for both my physical and spiritual well-being is that of reckoning up my faults occasionally. To do this honestly and conscientiously has proved a little frightening on occasions, and has clearly pointed out the truism that perfection is not a tangible reality, but a goal seldom attained. However, to move toward that goal, I try to delineate the personal barriers which I alone can and must overcome. Once I brought them into my own consciousness, their mere recognition helps to promote my improvement and my fuller understanding of their existence in others. This I label my principle of self-analysis. One of my essential beliefs embraces a supreme being. The God I worship demands little material display. His tenets have no certain day for observance, but are as binding on Monday as they were on Sunday. The God I worship has equal forgiveness and compassion for great and small, dark and fair, educated and unlearned. I choose to believe that his principles include the brotherhood of all men who will accept him without the limitations set by men themselves. While geographical and political factors contrive to estrange the various ideologies, I cannot have as a personal belief the theory that anyone who does not worship as I do is in error, nor can I believe that one whose political or moral beliefs conflict with mine is consigned to a flaming hereafter. In my business and social life, people from every station are my friends. It is not my aim to convert others to my beliefs, but to nourish and strengthen these beliefs to my own spiritual satisfaction. This I label my principle of tolerance. A large part of my personal life has been influenced by my family, and they have shared in forming my beliefs. Along with an abiding trust in the essential good of man and his ability to overcome his problems, a more immediate personal hope is that I may leave a heritage of honor and an awareness of truth with my 2 young sons who will be a part of the future.
Those were the beliefs of George R. Higginbotham, the president of the Consolidation Coal Company in his native West Virginia.
Listen while the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective. Good evening. This is Bill Foreman, speaking to you for the 10,000 independent druggists who have made the word Rexall part of their own store names. They've done that because they recommend and sell the 2,000 or more drug products made by the Rexall Drug Company. All this month, Rexall family druggists are offering 4 of these products at attractive bargain prices. Just listen. Rexall Hydrogen Peroxide, USP 3%, a pint for only 30 cents. Rexall Epsom Salt, medicinally pure, regular 41-cent pound, now only 27 cents. Rexall Mineral Oil, extra heavy body, non-habit forming, and non-fattening, the regular 69-cent pint, down now to only 46 cents. Alco-Rex Rubbing Alcohol Compound, top quality, the regular 49-cent pint, yours now for only 32 cents. Remember, these bargains are available all during August at Rexall drugstores everywhere. And remember this, too. You can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall. Good health to all from Rexall. Now, your Rexall family druggist brings you a transcribed half hour with Richard Diamond, private detective, starring Dick Powell.
Diamond Detective Agency. We can solve any crime but television.
Diamond, stop clowning and get right down here.
Well, Sergeant Loveloon. What's the matter, Otis? Didn't the zoo pick up your option?
Oh, now quit that. You gotta get right down here. Something terrible's happened.
They haven't made you commissioner.
Worse than that, Lieutenant Levinson's been kidnapped.
Diamond to see you, Captain.
Hello, Collins.
Oh, all right, Diamond.
Otis just called me about Walt.
Now, look, Rick. I know Walt's a personal friend of yours. He's a good friend of mine, too. But this is police business. A cop's been kidnapped.
Diamond was a cop for 6 years.
I don't need a case history, Sergeant.
Oh, get off it, Charlie. I'm down here to help.
Of course you are. But there's one thing I won't stand for, Rick. The way you operate.
Well, what's the matter with the way I operate?
I know how you feel about Walt, and when a guy feels that strongly about someone, he's liable to do a lot of things to get a few answers.
Oh, for Pete's sake, Charlie. What are you going to do? Hold a tea party and hope someone will spread some gossip?
That's not fair, Rick.
Well, if you think I'm going to sit back knowing that Bert Fisher's got Walt...
Who said anything about Bert Fisher?
Well, nobody had to say anything. Pretty obvious, isn't it? Walt sent Bert's brother Art to the electric chair. Bert swore he'd get Walt for it. Fisher dies tonight, doesn't he?
Yeah. Sure, I think it's Bert Fisher, too. And we're going to do everything about it we can.
Bert's been in Detroit, hasn't he?
Yeah. I've got a call into Detroit. Should be hearing any time.
This phone call you got saying they had Walt.
I didn't have time to trace it. The guy said Walt was being held, and when Art Fisher dies tonight in the chair, so does Walt.
Charlie, I'm going to work on this thing whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that figures. But I promise you, Rick, I won't save your skin if you get out of line.
Any leads yet?
No. You're rounding up the usual stoolies.
Well, I know a couple of boys who might have a few angles.
Who?
Nobody who would give you any information. These guys aren't stoolies. They might tell me because I think they like me. You see, Charlie, sometimes it pays not to be a cop.
I'll expect any information you get, Rick.
Oh, sure. Well, I'll see you later.
Rick?
Yeah?
Be a good boy, will you?
Collins, if we don't find Walt by 11 o'clock, can you hold up Fisher's execution?
No.
Oh, that's swell. I'll keep in touch.
Hey, Diamond, you think you can do anything?
And I can try. Do me a favor, Otis.
Okay.
Get me a complete background on Bert Fisher. Everything. All his friends, his record, as far back as you can go.
Gee, Diamond, I'm scared for the lieutenant.
You're not alone with that one, Otis. In the Bowery, living in a broken-down rooming house, was a man. 20 years ago, he'd come to the big city with his trumpet tucked under his arm. He'd started playing with little combinations along 52nd Street, and pretty soon the word got around. Everyone came to listen to him. They called him the Dean of Jazz, and the title stuck. Then one night he had an argument with one of the Fusari mob, and the next morning they found him in an alley, half dead, his face beaten to a pulp. It was a long time before the Dean could get around again, and it was a lot longer before he could play his trumpet. And by then, no one would have him. He couldn't make enough of the horn, so he tried crime. And that's where I met him. I did him a favor, and a short time later he went straight. He'd still kept his underworld connections, but he wasn't a stoolie. I'd just done him a favor once.
Yeah, who is it?
Richard Diamond.
Oh. Hello, Diamond.
How you, Dean? Like to see you.
Yeah, I kind of figured you would.
Dean, you ever run into a guy named Fisher? Bert Fisher?
How about a drink?
No, thanks.
Skull. Oh, man, it's going to be hot today.
This, Bert Fisher grabbed Lieutenant Levinson. Says he's going to kill him.
I can't help you.
Oh, Dean, I just need one little lead to get started.
Yeah, sure. Wish I had a fan in here.
How's business?
It isn't. Well, I make enough to pay the rent.
How about a few bucks to keep you going?
Well, I ain't proud, but it won't buy you anything.
The lieutenant's a good friend.
Yeah. Word got around this morning.
Here. Here's 10. Buy yourself some groceries.
Oh, thanks. You did me a favor once.
Forget it.
Bert Fisher's got a lot of rough hoods working for him. They're most all from Detroit, but they kill the same as anyone from here.
Mm-hmm. Dean, do you know anything at all?
I might. Who wants to die?
blow pretty good.
Sure, me and Bix.
Well, I'll see you around.
Yeah, thanks for the 10.
Oh, Dean, about 11 o'clock tonight, play a few bars of the funeral march.
Oh, Simon.
Yeah?
You remember this tune, don't you?
For it was Mary, Mary, plain as any name can be.
You got it, pal. See you around.
Sergeant Loveloon.
Oh, this is Diamond, Otis. What did you find out?
Oh, I got reports on everybody we know is connected with Bert Fisher. You want me to read them off?
Anybody on that list named Mary?
Mary? No. These guys are all named Hallelujah or something.
Look, check all of those names and see if Fisher or any one of his boys ever knew a girl named Mary. Then after you do that,
You what?
Holy smoke, I'll talk to you later.
Dean!
The Dean had blown his last note. He was sprawled face down on the dirty carpet, clutching the shiny trumpet. The thin line of red was spreading out from a bullet hole in his chest, and the open window sent me across the room in a hurry. I looked out on the fire escape to see a man drop to the alley below. We both fired a split second apart. He staggered as my slug knocked him against the building, and then before I could try again, he disappeared around the corner. I turned, looked down at the Dean, and wondered if Gabriel was getting a lesson in jazz.
Diamond, I warned you before you left here
Okay, Charlie. A nice guy's been killed, but all the crying in the world isn't going to help.
Hey, I got something, Diamond.
Let's see.
Good grief, he's got the whole department working for him.
Come on, Otis, what have you got?
Is it all right, Captain? Yeah, go ahead. I should be in the second-hand business. Report on one of Fisher's old mob, Lou Baxter. Only one of the whole bunch who had a girl named Mary.
Mary? Who's Mary? Charlie, look at this picture.
Lou Baxter. I've been looking at it all morning.
Oh, take another look. This is the guy I shot climbing down off the fire escape after he killed the Dean.
What?
Holy smoke.
You know where you can pick him up?
Oh, he's a local boy, all right. Didn't go back to Detroit with Fisher. I've had a call out in since 10:20 this morning. Hey, what about that girl, Otis?
Name's Mary Sinclair.
Used to go with Lou Baxter, Captain. No address on her.
Mary Sinclair and Lou Baxter, huh? Well, it's the first lead we've had. I'll get the boys on it.
Charlie had his methods and I had mine. Otis got in touch with the musicians local, and in half an hour I had a list of all the places the Dean had worked since the union had a record on him. I started checking dives, restaurants, jam joints, questioning owners, bartenders, waiters. No one knew a girl named Mary Sinclair. Around 3 o'clock, I wandered into a place on 52nd Street known as the Red Parrot.
Hi.
I'm looking for information.
You a cop?
Private cop.
Uh-huh.
You remember a guy who played here last year? Trumpet man, the Dean?
Sure. Everybody knows the Dean. Something wrong?
The Dean got himself killed.
Oh, no. Gee, that's too bad. Real nice guy.
You ever know a girl named Sinclair? Mary Sinclair?
No. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Hey, mister.
Yeah?
Why don't you ask Ed? He's the boy with the fingers playing the piano. He knew the Dean pretty well.
Thanks. You, Ed?
Yeah. What can I do for you, Pops?
I understand you're a good friend of the Dean's.
Sure, we're compatible. But I ain't seen him in a while. You looking for him?
No, for a friend of his, Mary Sinclair.
Cute chick.
Where can I find her?
Why do you want to find her, Pops?
Well,
the dean was murdered a few hours ago.
She used to live over on 47th Street, 69 West. That was a year ago.
You sure about the address?
Couldn't forget it. We had a few balls up there. She was kind of a flip. We had a little combo in here, pretty crazy, too. She used to come in and listen. Real hep on jazz. Knew all the old-timers by name, like the dean. I remembered when he was tops, before he got hurt. You ever hear him in those days?
Yeah.
I played with him a lot. Used to watch him real close sometimes. After hours, the boys would just sit around and blow because I felt like it. The dean used to lean back and close his eyes and blow things like he was getting the word from the other side. It was great. Might have been the greatest. Well, you all gotta go on ahead sometime. I guess it ain't so bad, though. The harp's a real wild instrument.
I left the piano player and headed for the address he'd given me. There was a good chance Mary Sinclair wasn't living there anymore, but it was the closest I'd come to any kind of a lead. When I got there, I held my breath and looked at the mailbox. Score for Diamond. Miss Mary Sinclair still lived in the building.
Ladies, famous beauty expert Ann Delafield says that women don't really need most of the cosmetics they own.
You mean I could actually do without all the lotions and creams I buy?
Exactly. Ann Delafield says it's nonsense to think a woman needs more than one cream. She has originated a single cream, the Ann Delafield All-Purpose Deep Cream that does everything for you. It's a face cream, a cleansing cream, neck, eye, and throat cream. All creams in one. So good for your skin, and so economical, too.
Sounds marvelous. Are there other Ann Delafield cosmetics?
Yes, indeed. There are vitamins for added beauty protection, double-duty powder with built-in foundation, and other Ann Delafield beauty aids to save you time and money, yet give you the very best you can buy anywhere.
Well, you convinced me. I'll be looking for them tomorrow.
Then look no further than your nearest Rexall drugstore, the store with the orange and blue sign. And now back to tonight's adventure with Richard Diamond, Private Detective, starring Dick Powell.
Yeah? Oh, hello.
Mary Sinclair?
Yeah. Whatever you're selling, I'll take a dozen.
I'd like to talk with you.
I'd like you to. Some other time. I'm busy right now.
I'm afraid this can't wait.
It'll have to, baby. Give me a call. Plaza 45466, Mr.
Diamond.
Okay, doll. Call me tomorrow, huh? You got your foot in the door, honey.
Old habit. Can't seem to break it.
Well, I'll break it for you, honey. Your whole leg.
You'll be sorry, doll.
All right, baby. Make it quick, huh? What do you want?
Let's talk inside.
I told you.
Yeah, I know. It's cooler in here.
The coolest. But it won't be for long.
Where's Lou Baxter?
Who?
You know, the boy you used to run around with.
I run around with a lot of boys. Ever since I was in grammar school, I ran around with boys. It's a hobby.
Where's Lou Baxter?
Baby, I don't know. You want to twist my arm? Go ahead, it might be fun.
He just killed the dean.
He did? Shame on him.
Forget it, Mary.
Hey, Lou.
Get out of the way. That's the guy who put a slug in me.
Look like you're in pretty bad shape, Baxter.
Doctor's coming. But he ain't going to be able to help you.
See, honey, you should have come back tomorrow.
Shut up.
Well, wouldn't have been half so painful.
I want Bert Fisher.
Well, good for you. Get away from that door. Now, walk into that other room.
Stop it, Baxter.
Didn't want to play.
You shouldn't have done that, Charlie. I needed him alive.
That's gratitude for you. I knew you'd get into trouble, Diamond, so I tailed you from that last bar on 52nd.
Is this Mary Sinclair?
Charmed, I'm sure.
Ought to stay here. Call a wagon.
Right. There's the doctor coming up. I doubt if he's legit.
Wait for him, then bring him down to the station, Otis.
Right.
Come on, Miss Sinclair.
Sure, honey. You know, Mr. Diamond, I think I'll have to break that date for tomorrow.
Here are Baxter's things, Captain. Watch, wallet, nothing much.
Yeah, let's check the wallet.
Book of matches. Danny's Diner, Route 51. Check on that, Otis.
Right.
Nothing much in the wallet. Social Security, driver's license, some money. Quite a lot of money. Want to take a look?
Yeah. No addresses, huh?
Here's a ticket to a shoe repair shop.
Nothing much here that would give us a lead.
Yeah?
Danny's Diner is about 160 miles out on Route 51. And guess who runs it?
Oh.
Chino Amalo.
That does it. Call the authorities in that area.
Right.
Chino Amalo.
8 years for armed robbery. Used to work for Bert Fisher.
Yeah, maybe this is it. What time is it?
Going on 7. This better be it. We only have 4 hours, and we got to drive 160 miles. Captain Collins talked at the sheriff's office and set up a rendezvous with him near Danny's Diner. Then we piled into a squad car and roared across the 59th Street Bridge for Route 51.
Staff on it, Otis.
We're doing 80 now.
10 to 90. It's getting late. Now, Rick, you think we should bust right in the diner and take Amalo?
No. Amalo doesn't know me. Never seen me. You stake out your men around the place and I'll go in. Give me a couple of minutes, then you come in, work on Amalo a little, and then leave. If he knows where Fisher is, he'll try to get in touch and I'll tag him.
Something for you?
A cup of coffee and a piece of pie.
Got raspberry, chocolate, lemon, peach, custard.
Oh, raspberry.
Yeah. Here you are.
Where's the closest gas station?
About a mile down the road, but I think it's closed. It's after 10. Closes at 10.
Oh, thanks.
Miss? Miss?
Yeah.
Where's Chino Amalo?
He's in the back. You want him?
Call him.
Sure. Hey, Mr. Amalo, someone wants to see you.
Okay, be right there. Yeah, something I can do. Oh, what are you doing way out here, Captain?
This your book of matches?
Yeah, that's the name of my place.
These matches on Lou Baxter. Baxter's dead.
Oh, that's too bad. You're not going to tie Baxter up with me, are you? Lots of people come in here and take my matches.
If Baxter came in here, you saw him. You're an old friend.
Well, sure, I know Lou, but I ain't seen him in years.
We got word your old boss is in town, Bert Fisher.
Oh, is that right?
Know where we might find him?
No, I haven't seen Bert in years either. Look, Captain, I've been going straight.
Sure.
You're a little out of your territory, ain't you?
This is unofficial. If you're in my jurisdiction, I'd haul you in.
Look, I tell you, I'm going straight. I don't know nothing about Lou Baxter or Bert Fisher.
Okay, Amaro. You may hear from me again.
Well, nice seeing you again, Captain.
Oh, miss.
More coffee?
Yeah. Where's the phone?
Right over there on the wall.
Is there another one?
In the kitchen, but you can't use that. Hey, you can't go back there.
Honey, it's the police. You stay where you are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is Chino. Let me talk to Fisher. Hey, what are you doing?
Don't move, Amalo.
What is this?
Cover up that mouthpiece. Cover it up.
Okay.
Now, when you get Fisher on the line, say what I tell you. Hold that receiver out so I can listen.
Look, friend.
You look. Say one thing wrong, and I'll use this gun.
You a cop?
None of your business.
Well, look, I...
There he is. Tell him you just heard Baxter was killed. Tell him.
Hello. Look, I just got news that the Baxter was killed.
Yeah? Okay, anything else?
No, that's all.
No, that's all.
So what's the matter with you?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. Got any more news? Keep in touch.
Hang on. Now, where's Fisher hiding out? Get up. Where's Fisher hiding out?
You dirty flat-foot, you nearly bust my jaw.
Only nearly? Where is he, Amalo?
Well, look, you kill me if I tell you.
That's getting late. Are you going to tell me?
Okay.
Some cabin about a mile up the road.
Come on. You're going to show us.
It's just around that bend.
We better get out here and walk.
How many men has he got in there with him, Chino?
2.
Now, whose cabin is it?
Mine.
Otis, get out and tell the rest of the men to douse the lights and come over here.
Right, Captain.
Now, here's a piece of paper. Draw us the floor plan of that cabin. Yeah, I'll give you some light. Okay, go ahead, Marlowe. How many rooms?
3.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're all set, Captain.
Okay.
1 big room with a door here, a kitchen here, and a bedroom here.
Well, where's Lieutenant Levinson?
I only been up there once since they got in. He was in the bedroom.
Now, how about closets, back door?
1 closet in the main room here, 1 in the bedroom here. Let's see, a broom closet in the kitchen and the back door here.
Has it got an attic?
No.
Where's Fisher's car?
Parked around the back in the shed.
Okay, I'll have the men stake out the place. You're going to take me up there, Amalo.
Me?
He's going to take us up there.
You're a civilian, Rick. If there's any shooting to be done...
If there's going to be any shooting, I'm going to be in on it.
Wait a minute. Who said I was going to take you guys up there anyway?
I did.
I told you everything I know. I ain't going to get my head shot off.
You're going to walk us up there, Marlowe, and you're going to knock on the door.
No.
And you're going to get them to open up.
Look, they're loaded with artillery, shotguns.
When the door opens, you duck.
Okay, suicide.
You heard what the captain said, Marlowe. I'm a civilian. Without a badge, I'm allowed to get pretty nasty with you.
Look, you can't make me do something I don't want. I know my rights, Captain.
You know something, Rick? I think I'm catching a cold. I can't hear a thing.
All right, now, wait a minute.
I'll go check the men. I trust you'll not take advantage of the prisoner, Rick. I couldn't hear if he yelled or something.
Wait. Okay. Fine cop.
All right, let's go. All right, men.
Yes, sir.
Listen now. I'm going up with Diamond. 3 of you take that side of the house. 3 take the other. You and you go around in the back of the shed where the car is.
Yeah.
Otis?
Yeah?
You and this man cover the front, but stay out of sight. If it comes, it'll come in a hurry, so close in fast.
And look, boys, the lieutenant's in the back room, so try and be as careful as you can.
All set?
Yeah.
Let's go, Amalo.
There it is.
Light in the front window.
It's 10 minutes of 11. I hope their watches aren't fast.
Keep going, Amalo.
Okay, Otis. You 2 drop here.
Right, Captain. Good luck.
What are you stopping for, Amalo?
I just remember they told me to yell if I came up.
If you try to pull anything...
No. Honest. They told me to yell.
Okay. You stay here. We're going up on that porch. Count 20, then yell.
And play it smart. I won't fool with you, Mallow.
Okay, Captain, but I'm scared stiff.
You're not alone. Come on, Charlie.
This guy's right up there on the land. Here's nobody's running because
Get on that side of the door.
Hey, Bert, it's me, Chino. Hey, Bert, I gotta see you.
You along?
Yeah. Can I come up?
It's all right on a minute. Okay, come on up. Get him, Rick. Come on, you dirty.
One going in the room. Take out! Okay. Don't shoot anymore. I'm hurt.
See you, Walt. Okay. Walt?
Well, it's about time. Get these ropes off me.
You okay, Walt?
Yeah. Thanks, Charlie. What time is it?
11 o'clock. Happy birthday.
If your vacation plans include some outdoor living, there are 2 great new Rexall products you should certainly take along. One is Rexall Sunburn Cream, a wonderful new soothing lotion that actually forms a protective film over the skin, spreads more evenly and stays on better than ordinary sunburn remedies. The other is Aerosol Fungi Rex, a new spray-on relief from athlete's foot that's easy, quick, and clean. You simply push a button and a greaseless, stainless spray goes direct to the infected area, eliminating messy applications and quickly relieving all the burning misery of athlete's foot. Yes, this year your vacation can be rid of those two summer plagues, sunburn and athlete's foot. Just ask for the new Rexall Sunburn Cream and Aerosol Fungi Rex at Rexall drugstores everywhere. Good health to all from Rexall. Richard Diamond, Private Detective, stars Dick Powell in the title role and was written by Blake Edwards, with music composed and conducted by Frank Worth. Dick Powell directed the RKO production Split Second, which is now in release, and his latest film appearance was in the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer award-winning The Bad and the Beautiful. Featured in tonight's cast were Wilms Herbert, Bill Johnstone, Sidney Miller, John Stevenson, Arthur Q. Bryan, Virginia Gregg, and Jay Novello. Richard Diamond, Private Detective, is transcribed in Hollywood by Jaime Del Valle. This is Bill Foreman inviting you to be with us next Sunday at this time when Rexall Drug Products again bring you Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, Private Detective. Now, a non-fattening sweetener in granulated form. It's Rexall Sweetenette Sprinkle, the sugar substitute in a shaker. Just sprinkle it on for all the taste and none of the calories. Remember the name, Rexall Sweetenette Sprinkle, at Rexall drugstores everywhere.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
This, I believe. Lieutenant Colonel George Stewart of the Air Force had the unique job of interpreting American life and culture to the British Armed Forces in 37 countries. Now, at the age of 60, he is also the author of a number of religious books and was at one time a lecturer at the Yale Divinity School. Here is Lieutenant Colonel Stewart.
As a sickly child of divorced parents, reared in poverty, I knew fear and want and sorrow. But as I grew older, I soon discovered also the gracious side of life. At 15, I was running a ranch by myself in southern Idaho. Not one of us could harvest our crops alone. We learned to help ourselves and one another. We were friends. Also, I discovered that if I approached the soil with labor and understanding, laid on irrigation carefully, planted right crops on suitable soil, the ground itself seemed eager to help. Both man and nature could be very cruel. That I knew well. Both could also be wonderful partners. I began to feel more confident, to believe in friendship. Neighbors loaned me books, enlarged my horizon by telling me their stories. Through them I traveled. They expanded, educated me. Gradually I grew to test action and attitude by the yardstick of friendship. I came to believe the big question to ask myself was, is this friendly or unfriendly? If it was friendly, go ahead. If unfriendly, stop. Through friends, and these friends were sometimes horses, burros, dogs, and cats, I grew up from being an oversensitive child into faith. faith that there were plenty of decent people who wished me well, whom I could love and serve, and who might, in turn, love and help me. My sense of inferiority lost its hurting edge. It now became a benefit, a spur to study and effort. And this faith in friends led to another faith, faith in God as shown in the gracious, dramatic life of Jesus. He seemed to me to approach people and problems with that same yardstick of friendliness, to show men the friendship of God. From that came an increased awareness of the value of my friends as individuals. I came to believe God wanted them and me to grow up, to be responsible. I saw in our one-room school, in myself and in others, that if bright pupils or the teacher gave us answers, we would never learn. There was no easy way. I had to work to get the answer myself. Reared as I was in a wide land, I naturally believed in wide liberties. But there was no meaning to liberty if it were not liberty for the individual. The individual had to be free to grow up. Whatever enlarged his area of free choice seemed to me to give him strength, was friendly and right. Later, as I traveled widely on every continent, I believed more strongly in friendship as a yardstick for action and attitude. Faith seemed increasingly valid, and the value of free individuals seemed even more precious and more necessary.
That was Lieutenant Colonel George Stewart, an author and soldier. A native of Missouri, he now lives with his wife in Dublin, New Hampshire.
Mr. District Attorney, starring David Bryan. Mr. District Attorney, champion of the people, defender of truth, guardian of our fundamental rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And it shall be my duty as district attorney not only to prosecute to the limit of the law all persons accused of crimes perpetrated within this county, but to defend with equal vigor the rights and privileges of all its citizens. This is David Bryan. In a moment, we'll bring you another case from the files of Mr. District Attorney. But first, a word from our sponsor.
And now, here is our star, David Bryan, as Paul Garrett, Mr. District Attorney.
The welfare of a city or county is not jeopardized by criminals alone. Nature itself is capable of sudden and unexpected violence that can lead to terror and death. This case started as part of a natural calamity. A gasoline truck skidded on a wet street, hitting a power pole near the city gas works. Sparks exploded the truck, and like a chain reaction, the storage tanks. In a matter of seconds, the entire section was rocked with explosions as flames swept a quarter-mile area of warehouses and tenements. 72 hours later, the combined fire departments of several cities were still struggling to get the flames under control. The death toll and damages were appalling.
Look. Just look at that smoke.
Did you get the late edition of the paper?
Yeah. 300 dead so far, more than 100 still missing. Lots of bodies unidentified.
What are the names of that? The list of dead.
Oh, right there on page 1. Only about 20 identified so far.
Ralph's name, one of the...
No. He's probably all right. A working square like him would be all right.
But he had a job washing dishes in that diner right by the gas tank. The explosion started.
Stop blubbering. Do you want to draw attention to me?
No, Bert. But he hit my brother. I've got to worry about him, too, don't I? He's probably dead.
Yeah, he probably is. Your brother Ralph is probably one of the unidentified dead.
Oh, man.
You'll have to go to the emergency headquarters the police have set up in the high school, Lil. If Ralph is dead, you'll have to identify him. If he is there, in with the ones they don't know, there's nothing you can do to help him. But you can help me, Lil.
What do you mean?
If you find him there, baby, what harm can it do if you identify the body but tell the police it's me? Don't you see, baby, it's a chance for me to get in the clear. They'll stop looking for me if they think I'm dead. Now, look, I'll leave town right now, see? I'll let you know where to meet me. Maybe at that resort place we passed near Lake Bluewater. We'll be free, baby. You and me, free from there on.
But then how? What do we do for money?
There's a safe in Landstone I've been itching to get at for a long time. One last safe job, baby, and enough to see us through. From then on, we'll be riding a gravy train. Nobody ever arrests a dead man. Now, get going.
All right, man.
Good girl. Go on.
You're sure your husband isn't at any of the other places where bodies are being held? The city morgue?
No. Only the identified ones are there. Are you a teacher at the school here, or detective, or what?
Well, no, ma'am. My name is Garrett. I'm the district attorney. Keep your hopes up, but don't hope too much for a while.
I'll be all right.
These are pretty bad cases.
I understand.
This one seem familiar in any way?
No.
This one?
No.
I'm sorry. Very sorry. Are you sure?
That ring on his finger.
I know it isn't easy, but try to get a grip.
I'm all right now.
You'd better give me his name for the identification tag.
His name is Vance. My husband, Vance Young.
Vance Young? I'm afraid I'll have to ask you a few more questions, Mrs. Young. Would you mind stepping over here into the alcove? I know this is most unpleasant for you at a time like this, Mrs. Young. It's unpleasant for me, too, but I have to ask you. It may be just a similarity of names, but did your husband have a criminal record?
Yes. Yes, he did.
Did you know he was wanted in several states for burglary, safecracking?
Does that matter? Now he's dead, isn't he?
Yes. I'm sorry I had to do this, Mrs. Young. You will find several men at desks outside that door at the back of the gym. They'll help you with the funeral arrangements.
All right.
That's Young.
Excuse me, please. Oh, hello, Chief.
No. Hello, Harry.
The mayor and the head of the disaster committee want to see you.
Where are they?
Riverside Garage. They're converting it into a temporary emergency hospital. Regular hospital's overflowing. You'll be ready for your hospital yourself soon. You look tired.
Oh, I'm all right. I'll be glad when this is over, though. I hope we never see anything like it again.
Yeah. This identification job is the worst of it.
I've helped with 5 today. You stand there with somebody, once their lives fall apart because of a freak accident.
That woman I just saw you with, did she find somebody?
Yes, her husband. Harrington, the man she identified was Vance Young.
Vance Young? The safecracker?
Yes.
Was he hiding out in the tenement district?
No, she said he had gone to visit a friend at a diner near the gasworks just about a half hour before the explosion. Well, I guess the explosion closed our files on him for good. Oh, when you check back to the office tonight, have Miss Miller put out a bulletin to all law enforcement agencies.
take Vance Young off the wanted list. There's no point in looking for a dead man. Sorry, fellas. That's all the breadcrumbs for today. See you for lunch tomorrow.
I thought I'd find you up here on the roof.
Oh, hello, Miss Miller. I was just feeding the pigeons.
Elevator boy told me. Harrington called from the basement garage. He wanted to speak to you. He's on his way up.
Oh, there he is now. Hello, Harrington.
Hi, Chief. You busy?
No. What's the matter?
Well, I had to stop in at the county sheriff's office a few minutes ago. While I was there, his deputy called in from Landstone. Something he thought we might look into.
What?
A safe at the Landstone Mercantile Company was burglarized last night. A payroll job. Watchman was knocked out, but he's been treated, and he's okay now if you want to go out there and question him.
Oh, we better go right away.
The elevator.
I'll ring.
What was it, Harrington? A safe cracking?
Yeah. Well, at least there's one safe specialist we can eliminate right from scratch on this one.
Who?
Vance Young.
Oh, yes. I'd almost forgotten about him. Dead men don't rob safes, do they?
Here's the elevator now.
Basement garage, Joe.
Well, this is the layout, Chief, according to the deputy's report. These back rooms are used for storage. He came in through the back, went through that door over there to the general office. That's where the safe is. You want to see it?
Yes.
There it is. Out over there beside the filing cabinets in the corner.
Yeah, look, it's Herculean, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, new model, too. Steel and wrought iron plates and more alarm wires and a police switchboard.
Yes, but a good safe cracker could divert the alarm circuit without tripping it. Then the box is a cinch because he's got the wire holes to start working on. Take a look.
All right. Back plate is blown clear off. Doesn't even look like he used a drill.
No, small nitro charges in the wire holes, and it was as good as having the combination. Oh, give me a yell for the watchman, will you?
Yeah, sure. Hey, you from the sheriff's office. Yeah, you. Send that watchman in here, will you?
Oh, here's where the circuit was jumped, Harrington. Neat hookup.
Mm-hmm.
Lab crew take a complete set of photos?
They always do. Oh, here comes the watchman.
You fellas want to see me? I'm the watchman.
Yes, what's your name?
Edwin Winkler. Everybody calls me Winky.
I understand you were knocked out. How's your head?
Well, aspirin ain't going to help it any, I tell you. Think you're going to get that fella that did it?
We'll be able to answer that better when all the fingerprints are checked.
Fingerprints? He didn't leave none, I tell you. He's wearing gloves. I saw him.
Looks like our best bet is going to be an M.O. check, Harrington.
Yeah.
M.O. check? What's that?
Modus operandi. All people have definite work habits. Even criminals. They repeat the same procedure on each job they do. It forms a pattern.
Yeah, we've got a pattern here, all right, Chief.
Well, I can think of 3 men suited by that M.O. These safe crackers whose work we've seen before.
Yeah. Well, let's see. There's Bert Larkin, but he's still doing time in Folsom for a job he pulled on the coast.
Yes, and the other 2 are Jack Fontaine and Vance Young.
Yeah, but Young is dead. That just leaves us Fontaine.
You mean you know who did it with nothing to tell you?
An M.O. can be almost as good as fingerprints or a signature.
Well, I'll be dinged. Maybe that fellow'll pay for slugging me after all, and for hurting my arm when they grabbed me in the alley out there.
You said he grabbed you?
Why, yeah. He whipped my arm up behind me, then jabbed a thumb up behind my ear. It hurt like crazy.
I got it, a judo trick, Chief. That still fits Fontaine.
It fits Vance Young, too. When did the burglar slug you, Winky?
After he made me open the back door and let him in.
Sneaked up on you before you could draw your gun, huh?
Sneaked nothing. That's why I didn't suspicion him at first. He come walking up the alley whistling like somebody taking a shortcut through. I didn't see the mask he was wearing until I lit a match. He asked for a light, see? Then he grabbed me. He got me in here and then beat on me and kicked me.
That doesn't sound like Fontaine, Chief.
It wasn't Fontaine. He always wears sneakers, comes up on a watchman from behind without a sound. That trick of asking for a match is Vance Young's. Gets the watchman's hands high and away from his gun.
But Chief, Vance Young is
dead. Maybe yes, maybe no. But I know one thing. We're going to find out. This is David Bryan. Before we continue with Mr. District Attorney in the case of the living dead man, here is an important message from our sponsor.
And now back to David Bryan, starring as Paul Garrett, Mr. District Attorney.
Explosions and fire in a natural disaster had destroyed a section of the city, killing more than 300 people. One of the dead had been identified by his wife, who admitted him to be a notorious safecracker wanted by the police. But now, suddenly, we were faced with a crime having all the earmarks of being committed by the man we thought to be dead. I went back to the office and started to check through the records.
Here's the information you wanted on Young's wife, Mr. Garrett.
Oh, thanks.
She gave her name as Lillian Young when she arranged burial with the disaster committee.
Did she give an address?
Yes, 1310 Morton Avenue. There's something the police made a notation on, though.
What?
That ring she said she identified the body by?
Yes.
Well, the undertaker turned it into the property claims division, but she's never showed up to claim it.
I don't understand it. I swear to you, Miss Miller, that woman was not putting on an act. She was hurt. Very deeply hurt, and she made that identification. Come in.
All right, Chief.
What'd you find, Harrington?
Well, I checked on the tag number on the body. Young's body, or whoever it was. Fire department code showed that it was found in the vicinity of that diner by the gasworks, all right. That's where the worst ones came from, the heart of that first explosion.
All right, here's what we do. Mrs. Young didn't claim the ring she used in identification. Get it from the property section. I'll give you an order.
Yeah.
Lots of workers who escaped the blast, truckers and people like that, might have eaten at that diner. See if any one of them can remember seeing that ring before. See if they can tell you who owned it.
Right.
Meanwhile, Miss Miller, I want you to check the Hall of Records. Find out when and where Young and that woman were married. I want her maiden name, where she came from, everything we can get on her.
Yes, sir.
Where will you be, Chief, when I get finished?
I'm going to try the home address Mrs. Young gave. You can follow me out there if you get anything.
Now, this was the room, mister. If there was anything they did, I didn't know about it. My wife and I run a respectable place here, and...
I'm sure you do, Mr. Johnson. I just want to look around.
Yeah, well, as I said, they didn't leave a thing. They only lived here 5-6 weeks, all told.
You get to know the husband very well?
To tell the truth, I hardly ever saw him. Come to think of it, I haven't seen him in more than a week since the big fire. He went out one night while that was going on and never did come back.
But you say his wife left only yesterday.
Yeah, right after the morning mail come. She gave him the keys to the room and packed up and left.
After the mail, You know if she got a letter from anybody?
Yeah, but I didn't see who from or where from. She waited for the postman most every morning. I got a house to take care of. Maybe Charlie can tell you where she went.
Charlie?
Yeah, a cab driver has the hack stand right up in the corner. She called him when she got packed. Oh, there's Charlie's cab now. You can see through the window. He just pulled up.
Thanks. I'll talk to him.
Yeah, so long.
So long.
Yes, sir, we're through.
What makes you think I want a cab?
The way I seen you coming to me, I can spot a fare a mile off way through.
Well, that's up to you, here or the police station.
Oh, cop, eh? What'd I do, forget to answer the ticket?
I'll ask the questions. You pick up a fare yesterday at 1310, the rooming house up the street?
Yesterday? Now, let me think.
Think faster. The landlord said you did. A woman named Lillian Young.
Okay, so I picked her up. So what?
Where'd you take her?
Bus depot.
You know which bus she took?
No, I don't. But whatever it was, it left 11:05.
You're sure of that?
I ought to be sure. Almost got a ticket for speeding to get to it. We'd had plenty of time. She didn't make me come dashing back here the first time after we was almost halfway to the depot.
Dashing back where? Back to the rooming house?
No, back to the laundry up the street there. I guess she had some stuff in there, although she didn't bring a bundle out with her.
Place up the street, huh?
That's right. Hop in, I'll drive you up there.
Oh, thanks, but there's a friend of mine I can ride with. Hello, Harrington.
Come on, hop in. I was just heading for the rooming house when I spotted you talking to the caddy. What's up?
Young's been missing since the fire. But Mrs. Young checked out yesterday after getting the morning mail. Caught an 11:05 bus.
11:05. Yeah, that's a northbound, I think. Upstate in the mountain areas.
Oh, we can check it later. You got anything on the ring?
Oh, yeah. A guy who was off duty at the gas works when they blew. He used to eat at that diner. Said the ring belonged to a counterman named Ralph Brenner. He must have been our dead man.
And Mrs. Young must have known him to cry the way she did.
Oh, she knew him all right. Miss Miller checked on her. Her maiden name was Lillian Brenner. The guy in the diner was her brother.
And that's why she was so broken up.
And what's our move? The bus depot?
No, a laundry up the street.
What? Why?
Because that's the last place Lillian Young stopped before she left town.
Yeah, she was real upset because the pigs wasn't ready. You know how things was. We're 5 days behind on our regular work because of the fire. Funny thing, the only one who complained about the laundry being late was Mrs. Young. Maybe that was only because she had to leave town. She had taken the stuff with her, finished or not. It hadn't been in the tubs.
Well, what did she leave?
Oh, just shirts. Her husband's, I guess. Real good shirts, though, the kind you don't have to starch at all. And fancy colors. Well, my old man wouldn't be found dead in some of them.
She said she'd be back to pick up the shirts?
No. She wanted them sent to her COD. Said she needed the money she had on her for traveling. Shirts like that, you'd think her and her man was rolling in money, but...
We understand, but did she give you a forwarding address?
Yeah, I got it right here in this book. Here we are. See, she wrote it down herself.
Let's see. General Delivery Chief. Lake Blue Water.
Shirts are ready now. They're there on that there shelf up there. I'm going to wrap them and mail them out tonight.
We'll save you the trouble. Just wrap them and we'll deliver them for you. Young's Laundry isn't going to get there until we do.
There's the road sign now, Chief. Blue Water.
25 miles speed limit. Better slow down.
Yeah, not that there's any need to. That's mostly for summer. Season's over now. Regular residents turn in early.
Oh, just the same. It's the law.
Yeah.
Looks like you're right, though. Main Street's practically deserted.
Mm-hmm. Looks like everything's closed up for the night already, except for the movie and the drugstore. Hey, we better find the hotel and turn in.
No, I think we'd better drive out of town. Find a motel someplace on the highway.
Motels up here aren't much. Mostly cabins with kitchens along the shore of the lake when we get past town. Here's the end of town now. I can let her out here a little.
I won't mind spending the night beside the lake. Air is crisp and fresh.
By midnight, it'll be crisp and frozen. Here's the lakeshore turnoff. I hope we find a place open.
We will. Some of the owners must stay on to do post-season repairs.
You know, Chief, it's a funny thing about Young's wife remembering his shirts even when she was getting ready to run. I guess it's force of habit for a woman, huh?
Strong thing, habit. Young's safe-cracking habits tipped us that he was still alive. Now, maybe his wife's habits are going to make him wish he were dead again. I think... Stop the car, Harrington.
Huh? What is it? What's the matter?
I just saw something. Back up. About 50 feet.
What was it?
Just a flash of something through the trees. Back up. Headlights picked it up as we came past.
Little road goes down there, that's all. Wooden sign on that tree. Foster's Cabins. Oh, yeah. See the backs of the cabins down there? It's all dark, though.
I see something else, don't you? Put the bright lights on again.
Yeah. Wash hanging on a line behind one of the cabins.
Look at the two men's shirts on the end of the line.
Looks like a couple of rainbows even in this light. Hey.
That's the kind of color scheme Vance Young goes in for. The shirts we have in the laundry bundle are just like those. You better put out the lights. Don't slam the car door getting out. Let's walk down and have a look at those shirts.
Right. You know the laundry mark on the ones we picked up?
Yes, 4 numerals. 1310. Same as the address of the rooming house they lived in. Right now. Got your flashlight handy?
Yeah.
All right. Let's have the light. Feel it as much as you can. Marks will be inside the collar. There it is. 1310. Yeah.
Vance? Is that you? Who are you? What do you want?
Come on, Harrington.
Vance! Vance!
All run, Mrs. Young. It won't do you any good.
Grab her.
Vance, it's the police!
Where is he?
I don't know. He's gone. He's not here. He's went into town.
Down there, Harrington.
Oh, where?
The boat dock by the lake. I saw a shadow moving. Let her go. We'll pick her up later.
There he is, Chief.
Hurry. He's getting oars out of the boathouse.
Stay out of the rowboat, Vance.
He's pushing off.
I'm going to jump through.
Look out, Harrington. The oar.
Oh, brilliant, you cover. I'm not as easy as you think.
Look out. He's got President. I can't swim. Oh! He can't swim. He wasn't lying. He can't swim.
I got you, Junior. Just relax. That's better.
Ladder over here, Harrington. I'll give you a hand.
Grab him. He's starting to come to.
I got him. Heave.
I told you I couldn't swim. Well, where you're going, mister, it won't matter.
Man, look at him. That water's freezing cold. Don't just stand here with him.
Well, he's no worse off than I am, lady.
No, he isn't, Harrington. As a matter of fact, he's much better off than you are.
What's that supposed to mean?
You'll see when we get back to our car. At least we have a nice dry shirt waiting for you.
Come on. Get moving.
This is David Bryan again. I hope you've enjoyed this case from the file of Mr. District Attorney. I'll be back in just a moment after this message from our sponsor.
Now, here is the star of Mr. District Attorney, David Bryan, with a word about the program you have just heard.
Having been convicted 3 times previously for felonies, Vance Young, on this 4th conviction for burglary and assault, was sentenced to life imprisonment as an incorrigible criminal. His wife, Lillian Young, having no previous criminal record, was sentenced to 5 years in the women's penitentiary for aiding a criminal, obstructing justice, and willfully giving false information to law enforcement authorities. Now, this is David Bryan inviting you to join us when we present our next case based on the facts of crime from the file of Mr. District Attorney.
Mr. District Attorney was originated by Phillips H. Lawrence.